Hello everyone. Am I audible and visible? Okay, just give me. Okay. So, welcome everybody. Today we're going to have a quick session on PSM 101 liners, guys. Good afternoon. So basically in this session we'll be covering the entire PSM only with the help of PYTs and PYQs also will be focused on, and PYTs and PYQs will be covered in the form of 101 liners only. Okay, so it's like a mini exam for you. You can think it as that ways. It's like a mini exam for all of you. I'm going to put out the questions. It's a rapid fire. Let's see how quick you can answer. Even if you don't remember anything, please, if you don't remember something, don't be disheartened. We still have time. So later you can revise this session also. I will be putting out the PDF on PrepLadder's Telegram group as well as other place. So you can have a look at the PDF as well. Okay, I'm good. Hope all of you are doing good, everybody. Many happy birthday to you, Jency. May God bless you, dear. All right. So without much ado, great Jency, God bless you. Let's start the session, everybody. I need a thumbs up from all of you, and just a little heads up, the session would take around 2.5 hours. So be patient, enjoy the session, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, but be quick in answering, and it's just a fun-filled session. So enjoy it to the maximum, all right? And revise PSM in a manner like you've never done before. Everything gets into your head very easily. Okay, so let us start the topic. Now, anyone has any question, just keep it towards the end. I will discuss with you whenever we have time. After the session, we are going to discuss it. All right? I hope the voice is okay. Yeah, I have divided it into topics. It is topics, and with each topic only we'll be covering the one-liners. So we're going to start with the first topic, which is demography. So the first question over here is steps of demography transition model. So you have to quickly write down all the steps of the demography transition model. At the same time, remember the word is demography transition model. Of course, even if you're a NEET PG aspirant, please do attend it. It's just one-liners for PSM. It's the same everywhere. You should enjoy the session even if you're a NEET PG aspirant. Okay, all right, so let's start with the first question, steps of demography transition model. So what are the steps, guys? Very good. The first one is high stationary. What is the next one after high stationary? It is early expanding. After early expanding, it is late expanding. After late expanding, it is going to be low stationary, and of course it is going to be declining. So these are the stages of demography transition model. Question number 1 done. Now tell me about each of the process. Okay, what are the demographic processes? Can anybody put in the comment section? What is governing the population of a country? What are the processes which govern the size, composition and structure of a country? Now, I have told you how to remember this. Remember it as a story. How will you remember it as a story? So, a couple gets married. So, there is marriage. After marriage, they have children. So, there is fertility. All right, they have children. There is fertility. Then the couple decides that, oh, we are not earning too much in this country. Let's go move abroad. So they migrate. The next one is migration. Now, if they migrate, they might end up earning more or they might end up earning less. That means from upper class, they might become middle class, or from lower class, they might become upper class. So, this is social mobility. And ultimately, what is going to happen, guys? Ultimately, there is mortality. So, these are your 5 demographic processes. All these that you see as one-liners, guys, are PYQs. Sare PYQs hain, so you don't have to worry at all. Okay? So what are the demographic process? Marriage, fertility, migration, social mobility, and ultimately it is mortality. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now tell me the name of the stage where birth and death rate both are high. What is the stage known as? Birth and death rate both are high. What do you call this stage? Where the birth is also high, death is also high. This is high stationary. Good. You could get any of these phases in exam. High stationary. Next one, birth rate remains unchanged, but death rate starts to fall. So this is what? This is early expanding. Birth is unchanged, but the death rate starts to fall. That means if anybody asks you, what is stage 2? Birth remains unchanged, but death rate starts to fall. Birth rate starts to fall for the first time. Death rate continues to decline. This is what? This is late expanding. Late expanding. Next, what is it? Birth and death rate. Both are low. So what is this? This is nothing but low stationary. This is nothing but low stationary. And the last one, birth rate below death rate. What is this? This is the declining phase. Birth rate below death rate. This is the declining phase. So this is your first question where we have revised all the stages of demography. One more question I'm going to ask you, just put in the comment section. If I ask you highest birth rate, what are you going to mark? Highest birth rate. Where do you see the highest birth rate, guys? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. Where do you see the highest birth rate? Highest birth rate kahan milta hai? Highest birth rate is in stage 1. Good. Highest birth rate is in stage 1. You should remember that. Alright. Never say stage 2. It is stage 1. Moving to the next slide. India is in which stage of demographic cycle? So can you quickly answer these questions? India is in which stage of demographic cycle? So India is still in which stage? India is still in stage 3. What is stage 3? Late expanding phase. Stage 3 is late expanding phase. Now can you tell me which stage is known as demographic trap? Which stage is known as demographic trap? Which stage is known as demographic trap? The country is stuck. The population is growing at a faster rate. Which is this stage? This is stage 2. This is stage 2, or this is, you can also known as population explosion. Country is growing at a faster rate. All right. Population explosion. What is demographic transition? It is shift from which stage to which stage. So what is demographic transition? It is shift from which stage to which stage, everybody? Demographic transition. So we transit from which stage to which stage, guys? So it is a transition from stage 1. Don't say stage 2. Stage 1 to stage 4. Don't say stage 5. It is stage 1 to stage 4. High stationary to low stationary. That is demographic transition. What is demographic gap, guys? Can you give me the definition of demographic gap in the comment section? Demographic gap kya hota hai? As quick as possible. What is demographic gap? So demographic gap, everybody, is CBR minus CTR. And just a quick revision. What is crude birth rate, guys? Crude birth rate is nothing but total number of live births. Total number of live births per 1000 mid-year population, and crude death rate is nothing but total number of deaths per 1000 mid-year population. And when do you take mid-year population? Another one-liner. Mid-year population is taken on 1st of July. Mid-year population is taken on 1st of July. Clear? All the latest values I will give you at the end of the session, or you can take it here only. The latest crude birth rate now, guys, in India is 19 per 1000 mid-year population. And what is the death rate now? It is 7.5 per 1000 mid-year population. Very important facts, okay? These are the latest values. Done enjoying the session? So this is how we'll be revising. Let's go to the next stage. Demography transition model. Can you tell me where is the demographic gap minimum? Try to remember the image of demography transition model and tell me where is demographic gap minimum in demographic transition model. Where is it minimum in demographic transition model? Where is it minimum? Just stage 1? No. Minimum kisme hai? High stationary also, low stationary also. So it is minimum in stage 1 as well as stage 4. It is minimum in stage 1 as well as stage 4. Tell me where is the demographic gap maximum? Where is the demographic gap maximum? Birth rate still high, death rate starts to decline. So this gap increases. So where is it maximum, guys? It is maximum late stage 2. It is maximum late stage 2. And when does the demographic gap starts contracting for the first time? When does the birth rate declines? Declines first time in stage 3. So it starts contracting in early stage 3. Early stage 3 it starts contracting. And where is it negative, guys? It is negative in stage 5. Alright, it is negative in stage 5. Okay, so that is about the various stages, what happens to each of them in various stages, you should know about it. Alright, moving to the next slide. What is Malthusian model? What is the formula for Malthusian model? What is Malthusian model? What does Malthusian model predict? Malthusian model predicts population doubling time. Malthusian model predicts population doubling time. And what is the formula for population doubling time? It is 70 upon AGR. What is AGR, guys? What is it? Not ABR. AGR. I think Jayalakshmi want to write AGR, right? AGR क्या होता है? I'll just write it here, everyone. AGR is annual growth rate. Annual growth rate. That is what is AGR. Annual growth rate. So suppose in the exam you get a question that there is a country whose population is 1.2 billion. The annual growth rate is 2%. So in how many years will the population double? All you need to do is 70 divided by 2. So that will be 35 years. Whatever AGR is given, you're going to use it. Okay? Alright, moving ahead. अब इंडिया का वैल्यू AGR का चेंज हो चुका है guys. Current AGR of India, let me write it here for you so that you don't forget. Current AGR India, all the latest value are out is 1.18. Current AGR of India is not 0.9, it is 1.18. ठीक है? Okay, sex and age is presented by which pyramid? So, sex and age is presented by what is known as population pyramid. Now, can you comment on Indian population pyramid? What is the shape of Indian population pyramid? Is it constricting? Is it expanding? Is it spindle? Is it upward triangular? What is current India's population pyramid would look like? What would India's population pyramid look like? Exactly. It is upward triangular. It is upward triangular and it is expanding type. Spindle shaped is for developed countries. Okay? If I talk about developed countries, for developed countries, guys, it is spindle shaped. Spindle and it is constricting. Okay? Constricting, that we can revise in our image based sessions also. Very, very important, what is dependency ratio? 3 star, 4 star. Abhi latest INI-CET also gave a calculation on dependency ratio. So can you tell me what is dependency ratio formula, everyone? You're going to, today I'm going to compile all the formulas for you. So it is children below 14 years and elderly above 65 years, elderly beyond 65 years. They are dependent on the working class, which is 15 to 64 years. Now, in the exam, if you see it is written 60 years, please don't get confused. Chalega. Certain countries, we take the cutoff as elderly for 60 years. So, don't get too much of perplexed that ways, okay? The formula generally is children below 14 years, alright, are dependent plus elderly beyond 65 years, they are dependent on the working class, which is 15 to 64 years. Ek hai young age dependency, the other one is old age dependency. ठीक है? Can we go to the next slide, everybody? Enjoying? Let's move forward. So these are a couple of one-liners I want you to tell me as soon as possible. Let me see if you remember. What is the term given to? And this is one of the 3-star slides, guys. Something you can expect from this slide. Decline in dependency ratio due to decline in young age dependency. What is it? Is it demographic bonus or is it demographic burden? Is it demographic bonus or is it demographic burden? Remember how I've taught you. Bonus means something advantage. So what is the advantage which is happening over here? Dependency ratio is declining. Why is dependency ratio declining? Because young age dependency is decreasing because of low fertility. So this is demographic bonus. This is demographic bonus. All right. But if anybody asks you increase in dependency ratio due to increase old age dependency. Now dependency ratio is increasing. That means it's not a bonus. It's a bhar. It's a pressure. So what is it? It's burden. And in so many Hindi movies, English English movies you've seen, they always show elderlies as burden, not in real life, okay? It's just to make you remember. So what is it? Burden is due to increase in old age dependency. So this is what? Demographic burden. This is demography burden. Remember it this way. Bonus is something good, which is decline in dependency ratio due to decrease in young age dependency, because there is low fertility now. Burden means old age dependency is increasing, life expectancy is increasing. Now what is this? Initial economic advantage of declining fertility rates leading to a higher ratio of working age individuals to dependents. Now what is this? This one is, guys, demographic gift. This one is demographic gift. All the definitions you will find here. Okay? This is demographic gift. See, now what happened that if the birth rate starts to decline, all right, fertility will be low, so the pressure on the working population would be less. So that's a gift. And working population will peep through a window. It will become prominent. Working age population is significantly larger or prominent. This is demography window. Alright, this is demography window, and when the working age population is more, they can contribute more, leading to economic growth. So what is this? When there is more growth, this is demography dividend. This is demography dividend. Alright, this is demography dividend. Anybody has any doubt on this? Just keep it for the later. I will again revise with you. Am I clear? Let's go to the next set of one-liners. So those are important one-liners from the first topic, demography. Done? Moving ahead to this one. Most efficient health information collection system. Let's see who can answer as quickly as possible. Most efficient. There are no options, right? There are no options here. Tell me which is the most efficient health information collection system. Most efficient, which is very reliable. You get the data. It provides your data of lot of things. So no answer, yes. Should I give you? Oh, somebody has written. Good. SS, Suhana, Simi, everyone. Most efficient is SRS. Sample registration system. Alright. It is sample registration system. It is sample registration system. Now look at this. Dual recording system, which provides annual estimates of, all these are MCQ, guys, annual estimates every year. Which system gives you data on CBR, CDR, MMR, IMR, annual growth rate? This again is SRS. So, एक दो question यहीं बन गए. Which is the dual recording system? SRS provides you data on what? It only provides you data on CBR, CDR, IMR, MMR, AGR. ठीक है? What is the answer to this? Conducted every 5 to 6 years, has successfully completed 5 rounds, is currently under International Institution of Population Sciences, Mumbai. What is it? Now, in one line, I have covered all the points which could come as MCQ for this particular health information collection system. Good, Dr. Parth. Good, Renu. Good, Ankesh. Everybody. This is NFHS, National Family Health Survey. So, what all questions could come from that? We've already covered. Conducted once every 5 to 6 years, successfully completed 5 rounds. It is also under the International Institute of Population Sciences, Mumbai. Okay. Conducted once every 10 years under Ministry of Home Affairs. So, once every 10 years under Ministry of Home Affairs. This is very important. Ministry of Home Affairs, Census. Ministry of Home Affairs, Census. Ministry of Home Affairs looks after 2 things. Number 1, census, and the other one, disaster. How can you remember? In census, we have to count the houses. And in disaster, the houses get damaged. So, wherever houses is involved, it is what? Ministry of Home Affairs. Easy to remember. Okay? Chalo, what is your answer to this one? Least efficient health information system that supervises birth and death registration. What is it? Least efficient health information system that yes, you'll get the PDF, don't worry. What is it? CRS, Civil Registration System. And both birth and death have to be registered within how many days, guys? 21 days. Least efficient health information registration system is CRS, and it should be registered within 21 days. All right. What is this? Data collected by health workers in the field. Now, suppose I am getting data on why maternal mortality is happening, but I am getting that information by health workers who are collecting data in the field. This one, if you know it, good. If not, look at it, is known as lay reporting. What is it known as, guys? Lay reporting. All right. It is known as lay reporting. Good. Somebody answered it. Yours truly answered it very quickly. Good, guys. So, Dan, can we... Okay, so let's continue, guys. Number of live births per 1,000 mid-year population. What is your answer to this? Number of live births per 1,000 mid-year population. So this we did right now is crude birth rate. Number of live births, but now voice nahi aa raha. Number of live births, but now. Okay, all right. Number of live births. Now you know everybody in mid-year population cannot give birth to a baby. So we have women in reproductive age group. Same thing. Number of live births per 1,000 women in reproductive age group. This is GFR, general fertility rate. Now every woman in reproductive age group is not equally exposed. Like if there's a 20-year-old unmarried girl and there's a 25-year-old married girl, who is more exposed to giving birth to a baby? Of course, number of live births per 1,000 married women. So what is this? General marital fertility rate. Just everything remains the same, guys. Just keep changing the denominator. Got it? Now tell me this one. Buzzword, average number of children. If you see the buzzword children, a woman will have throughout her reproductive lifespan. That means right from 15 to 49 years, how many children will a woman have? So the buzzword is children. If you have children, your answer is TFR, total fertility rate. Now out of those children, how many are girls? If the question says average number of girls that a woman will have throughout her reproductive lifespan, assuming no mortality, this is what? GRR, gross reproduction rate. And out of those girls, how many are going to remain alive? That means this thing means the same thing. A number of daughters a newborn girl will have throughout her lifetime. Okay, but most important, mortality rates. This is what? NRR, net reproduction rate. Okay, look at me everyone. If the question comes, CBR, number of live births per 1,000 mid-year population. Everybody in the denominator is not equally exposed to giving birth. Who can give birth? Women in reproductive age group. So what is it? General fertility rate. Now who is more exposed to giving birth? Married women. So what is it? General marital fertility rate. And when you see the buzzword children, that means bacche. Throughout the reproductive lifespan, 15 to 49 years. 15 to 49 years, number of children, what is it going to be? TFR. Out of those children, how many are girls? That is what? GRR. And prevalence of contraceptive, sorry for the little, बच्चे भी लिख रहे हैं के साथ क्यों होता है? So sorry for that. मुझे भी नहीं पता मेरे साथ क्यों होता है. Chalo, now working fine. Okay, let's continue. All right, indicates prevalence of contraceptive use, that is CPR. Very good, yours truly. Contraceptive prevalence rate or couple protection rate. You can call this as contraceptive prevalence rate, contraceptive prevalence rate, or you could also call it as couple protection rate. You can also call it as couple protection rate. Clear? Let's move to the next slide of the day. So you have to give me quick answers here. Which fertility indicator is an indicator of complete family size? First star question. Which is an indicator of complete family size? Anybody? Indicator of complete family size is TFR. Good. Total number of children. So indicator of complete family size is TFR. Mortality dependent fertility indicator. We all know mortality dependent fertility indicator is NRR. Mortality dependent fertility indicator is NRR. What is the most sensitive indicator of family planning achievement services? Most sensitive indicator again is NRR. But if somebody asks you, which is the simplest measure of fertility? Number of live births per 1,000 mid-year population. So what is the simplest measure of fertility, guys? It is nothing but crude birth rate. The simplest measure. But one extra question I'm going to give you. Functional and operational indicator. We always check in terms of couple protection rate. Okay, how many couples are using a contraceptive method? Functional and operational indicator. Implementation of National Family Program at grassroots level. So how do we give the targets at grassroots level? We give in terms of contraceptive prevalence rate. We give the ANMs that so much we have to ensure that so many couples use contraception. Another question, for a population to stabilize, guys, what should be the TFR? For a population to stabilize, the TFR should be equal to 2.1. 2.1 means 2-child norm, and this is the desirable TFR. This is the desirable TFR. 2 mat bolna, India ka 2 hai. India's current TFR is 2, but that's not desirable. Desirable, it means the same almost. Desirable is 2.1, and this is possible when net reproduction rate is 1. That means out of 2 children, 1 is girl. Every woman is replacing herself with 1 girl child. And this is possible. When will it be that NRR will be 1? When couple protection rate is more than 60%. That means more than 60% couples are being protected using a contraceptive method. Okay? So these were certain buzzwords for demography, fertility indicators as well. Now let us go to contraceptives. Quick answers are needed over here. Can you start and tell me most common side effect of IUD insertion? What is the most common side effect of IUD insertion? What is the most common side effect of IUD insertion? Bleeding. Good. And what are you going to do if a woman complains of bleeding? You are going to reassure the woman. So, reassurance. Please don't immediately take out the contraceptive. You have to reassure the woman. Put her on iron tablets for 2 to 3 months. Okay. Most common cause of removal of IUD. What is the most common cause of IUD removal? So, removal of IUD, the most common cause is, guys, pain. Okay, next one. Contraception of choice for couples who meet occasionally or the couples who are in a long distance relationship. What is the contraception of choice for couples who meet occasionally in a long distance? Here you will look in terms of failure rate. You will say IUCD. Not barrier, not barriers, guys. You will look in terms of failure rate over here. Lower the failure rate, better, even if they are meeting occasionally. But contraception of choice for healthy newly married couples. What is your answer here? Healthy newly married couples. Healthy newly married couples, again we are going to go for OCPs. Healthy newly married couples are what? It is OCPs because they have the lesser failure rate than barrier methods, than condoms. So it is OCPs. Alright, next one. Couple of choice, contraception of choice for adolescents who are engaging in sexual activities. Adolescents. Of course, you will have to say them. You can't tell them don't use a contraception. You can go for barrier method. Now this was a PYQ. Best for well-educated 35 years plus 35 plus years lady, temporary method. What are you going to advise her? What are you going to advise her? 35 plus years, alright? Temporary method, well educated. For her, we would go for a diaphragm, alright? For her, we would go for a diaphragm. For her, we would avoid pills, guys. If she insists on pills, then only give a pre-OP. Otherwise, you will go for a diaphragm. Okay? Next one, contraception of choice in a breastfeeding woman with within 6 weeks of delivery, within 6 weeks of delivery, what are you going to advise? Within 6 weeks of delivery, don't say IUCD now, it is what? Progesterone only pill. Within 6 weeks of delivery, no longer it is IUCD, because IUCD can be inserted up to 48 hours or after 6 weeks. You can't insert it anywhere between 48 hours and 6 weeks. So within 6 weeks of delivery, if a woman needs a contraception, POP. Best method to assess failure rate of contraceptive. Who's going to answer this? Best method to assess failure rate of contraceptive. Best method. Shubhanshi, I've asked you best method, bache. Best method is life table analysis. This is a better method. But if I say most common method which is used to assess, most common method is what is Pearl Index. Most common method is Pearl Index. Best method is life table. Most common method is Pearl Index. What about the newer contraceptives which have been introduced under National Family Welfare Program? So you all know it is Antara. Antara is nothing but injectable DMPA, where you will give 150 milligram intramuscular for 3 months, and the next one that you have is Chaya. Chaya is nothing but Saheli or Centromin. Saheli or Centromin. Saheli or Centromin, which is now non-steroidal hormonal contraceptive. You also call this as once a week pill. You also call this as once a week pill. Clear? Chalo, let's move to the next one. Gather approach is for what? Gather approach is for what counseling, guys? Gather approach. Gather approach is for contraceptive counseling. Gather approach is for contraceptive counseling. Can you tell me what does G stand for? What does A stands for? So I'll just write it for you. Greet the couple. Greet the couple. A stands for ask them what they want. Ask them. T stands for tell them what is good for them. Tell them. Alright. H stands for help them select. Help. Okay. E stands for whatever they select, explain to them. And what is R? R stands for return to follow up. R stands for return to follow up. So that is gather approach. Okay. Gather approach is for contraceptive counseling. Do go through this gather approach. Alright, next one. Eligible couple register is maintained at, where is it maintained? PHC, subcenter, CHC. Eligible couple register is maintained at subcenter. And who has been given the responsibility? Who has been given the responsibility to maintain this? It is maintained by the ANM. Okay? It is maintained by the ANM. Eligible couple register maintained at subcenter. The responsibility to maintain is by the ANM. Okay. Shelf life of copper T 380A, one of the patent MCQs. मतलब इसमें ना सारे exams का right है. It definitely turns up. 10 years. Okay. Shelf life of copper T 375 or the U-shaped with a blue thread. If you remember the image, U-shaped with a blue thread, multi-load. This was 5 years. But what about hormonal IUD? Third generation IUD, Mirena LNG 20. Now it is 5 to 7 years. Now it is 5 to 7 years. Go for 7 years. Now we go for 7 years. Okay? Vaginal sponge. What is the brand name of vaginal sponge, guys? What is the brand name which came in your FMGE exams and NEET PG has also asked, guys? What is? Yes, ANM and multipurpose worker are the same. Multipurpose worker female and ANM is the same. Multipurpose worker female. That's the same. Vaginal sponge का brand name क्या है? Today. Very good. And it contains 1000 milligram of non-oxynol 9, which is a spermicide. Okay. Contraceptive provided freely to commercial sex workers. Sorry, not under a National Family Welfare Program. National AIDS Control Program. Which contraceptive is provided freely to commercial sex workers under National AIDS Control Program? So that is nothing but female condoms. That is nothing but female condoms. Okay. It is not provided freely under National Family Welfare Program. It's provided freely under National AIDS Control Program. Okay, what is the best time to insert IUCD postpartum? I mean, timing to insert IUCD postpartum. Now there is an update within 48 hours of delivery, within 48 hours delivery up to 6 weeks. Within 48 hours delivery up to 6 weeks. Alright, sorry, within 48 hours delivery or after 6 weeks. Don't say up to. Within 48 hours of delivery, we'll say within 48 hours of delivery or after after 6 weeks. We cannot insert anywhere between 48 hours and 6 weeks. Clear? Okay, chalo, let's go to a couple of more questions, guys. Name this one. IUCDs provided freely under National Family Welfare Program till sub-center level. I don't want you making a mistake in this. Which intrauterine copper T devices are provided freely under National Family Welfare Program till sub-center level? You will get it in the basket of contraceptive. Copper T तो है, ठीक है. So IUCD पूछ रही हूँ, उसमें से कौन सा copper T है? So it is copper T. बच्चे, you have to tell me the name of the copper device. Copper T 380A and copper T 375. What is copper T 375? Multi-load. Copper T 375 is multi-load. Most common side effect of IUD insertion, we've already done it, got repeated bleeding. Okay, tell me absolute contraindication of IUCD. Please remember a couple of absolute contraindications of IUCD that come. Pregnancy, suspected pregnancies, all right. Vaginal bleeding of undiagnosed etiology, vaginal bleeding. Then you should always remember current PID. You will never give this. Current PID, vaginal bleeding unexplained, ठीक है. Current PID, cancers of the genital tract, you will not give. Now here I wanted to discuss one thing, which is ectopic pregnancy is a relative contraindication. Please remember this. Ectopic pregnancy, relative contraindication. Ectopic pregnancy is relative contraindication. Past history of PID is also relative contraindication. Anemia, menorrhagia, all these are relative contraindication. Similarly, can you tell me the absolute contraindications of oral contraceptive pills, guys? The mnemonic C stands for cancer of, you will never give in breast, cervical cancer, all right, cervical cancer. Then what is the other C? Cardiac abnormalities, Other than that, cardiac abnormalities. Other than that, what is it, guys? Congenital hyperlipidemia, So it is C. U stands for what? So there are 3 C's. Let me just add a page over here. Okay. We have 3 C's. You have U. U is undiagnosed, abnormal uterine bleeding. ठीक है, uterine bleeding, abnormal uterine bleeding. So you are not going to give it. CU. L is what? Liver disease. L is liver disease. And what about T? Past or present history of thromboembolism. Past or present history of thromboembolism. Past or present history of thromboembolism. याद रहेगा सबको? CULT. C I have written at the back, and this so contraindications of OCPs as well as IUCDs we have revised. Let's go to the next question. Can you tell me quickly composition of Mala N and Mala D? Which one is provided freely, guys? And ectopic pregnancy is relative contraindication for IUD insertion. ठीक है, ectopic pregnancy is relative contraindication. Got it? Okay, let's go to another one. Mala N is N for no cost, freely provided, freely. D is promoted. D say dukan. If you go to a dukan, which is a shop, you have to give money. So this is social marketing scheme के under provide होता है. But what is the question over here? That you have to tell me the composition. So it contains levonorgestrel, both of them, levonorgestrel, progesterone. How much? 0.15 milligram. And what about ethinyl estradiol? Ethinyl estradiol, guys, ethinyl estradiol 0.03 milligram. बोलना नहीं है, आज भी आता है. The question still turns up. And the iron is present in the form of ferrous fumarate. Iron is present in the form of ferrous fumarate, not sulfate, ferrous fumarate. Okay. Moving to the next one, OCPs protect against which cancers? OCPs protect against 2 cancers, EO, endometrial and ovarian cancers. Endometrial and ovarian cancer. Endometrial and ovarian cancer. But it increases the risk of which cancers? BC, breast cancer and cervical cancer. Breast and cervical cancer. कुछ भी आ सकता है, guys, exam में. These are all PYQs. So trust me when I say it's just a revision of PYQs. PYQ session, whether it's from NEET, FMG or INI-CET. Same questions come, alright. What is the advice post vasectomy? Immediately the man is not sterile. Use barrier method for how long? Use barrier method for 3 months. Use barrier method for 3 months or 20 ejaculations free, or up to 20 ejaculations free. Use barrier method up to 3 months or up to 20 ejaculations free. 20 ejaculations, not 30. Okay. One of the most expected one, tell me the answer to this. According to MTP Act, in case of contraceptive failure, MTP is allowed up to how many weeks in case of contraceptive failure? ये सबसे ज़्यादा students confuse होते हैं. Some of you do get confused. It is only 20 weeks. That is why I've written. INI-CET also asked the latest INI-CET, when do we need 2 doctors' opinion? Please remember, 2 doc opinion. 2 doctor opinion is only between 20 to 24 weeks. Otherwise, up to 20 weeks, we work with 1 doc opinion. ठीक है? मजा आ रहा है everybody? Long day along. We need a couple of hours more to finish this. So tell me the answer to the last few things from contraceptive. Postpartum sterilization as per GOI should be performed between. What is the time when postpartum sterilization could be done? Okay, from 24 hours, from 24 hours up to 7 days. Not 42 hours, 48. It's been changed, okay, up to 7 days. From 24 hours up to 7 days of delivery. Guys, correct it, not 48 hours, 24 hours kar lo. Subhashini, it is 24 hours up to 7 days. Alright. Best emergency contraception. What is the best emergency contraception? Can anyone tell me in the comment section? Best emergency contraception kya hai? Best is IUCD. Good. It can be inserted up to 5 days. Can be inserted up to 5 days of unprotected sexual intercourse. But most common emergency contraception which is used, what is the most common one? It is I-pill, or it is easy pill, or it is unwanted 72. So I'll just write it over here, guys. I-pill is a single pink color ka tablet hota hai, 1.5 milligram, taken within 72 hours. Taken within 72 hours. Best if used within 2 hours. Or best, the sooner you use it. It should be taken within 72 hours. Alright. No, correct it, Jadu Moni. You will change it to 24 hours, dears. Alright. 24 hours to 7 days. I will change there also. Other emergency contraceptives that you can use is Ulipristal, Mifepristone, guys. Mifepristone doses 10 milligram. Mifepristone doses 10 milligram. Mifepristone doses 10 milligram. We can use Ulipristal also. We can use Ulipristal also. ठीक है? Selective estrogen receptor modulator. Okay, most cost effective, least failure rate contraceptive method. What is your answer to this? Most cost effective, least failure rate contraceptive method. Let me see how many of you can mark this. Most cost effective, Ulipristal can be used up to 120 hours. Yes. Most cost effective, least failure rate. Most cost effective, least, क्या हो रहा है? सोचो, सबसे like cost effective. The government would have to bear less cost for it. And least failure rate, vasectomy, but hardly practiced in India. At the cost of 1 vasectomy, okay, whatever you have for 1 tubectomy, at the cost of 1 tubectomy, 5 vasectomies can be done. So most cost effective, least failure rate, but not at all prevalent. Most prevalent contraceptive method which is in India, guys, is tubectomy. Alright, most prevalent contraceptive method practice, not barrier, it is tubectomy. You don't need your husband's approval to get a tubectomy done, and a husband doesn't need the wife approval for vasectomy. दोनों के लिए we must have 1 child more than 1 year age. Okay, this is the eligibility for vasectomy or tubectomy. 1 child more than 1 year of age. Okay, what is Nishchay? What do you remember about Nishchay? What is Nishchay? Make up your mind you want a baby. Alright, so Nishchay is free UPT kit. Free UPT kit provided by ASHA worker. Provided by ASHA worker. We'll talk about Nikusht also. We'll talk about Nikshay also. Abhi Nishchay. Nishchay is UPT kit. Okay, next, Mission Parivar Vikas is a newer initiative, guys, in which we have for family planning only, Mission Parivar Vikas. Isme concept hai Sarthi. Sarthi is mobile vans, all right, which are carrying contraceptives. Then you have Saas Bahu Sammelan, getting the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law improved. And we also have Nai Pehel. Nai Pehel means we are going to give contraceptive kit, all right, family planning kit to a newlywed couple. So these are certain things that you should remember. Moving ahead, everyone, let's go to the next question. Okay, this is moving ahead, this is this is just, you're going to read it on your own, guys. Management of missed pill, मैंने ना PDF में दे दिया है, although we have discussed this in LRR sessions also, so let's give it a quick reading. If somebody misses 1 to 2 pill, this is one of the most expected MCQ, guys, most expected. If somebody misses 1 to 2 pills, that is up to 48 hours, no problem at all. Take 1 pill as soon as possible or take 2 pills at scheduled time. But when does the problem arise, guys? If a couple misses, if a woman misses more than 3 pills, whether in the first or second week, or she misses more than 3 pills in the third week. So if you miss 3 or more than 3 pills, what will you do? You will take 1 pill as soon as possible. You can't pop in all the pills together. You'll take 1 pill as soon as possible, continue with the remaining pills, but you have to use barrier method for the next 7 days. And in case somebody has unprotected sexual intercourse in last 72 hours, use an emergency contraception method. But if some woman misses 3 or more than 3 pills in the last week, everything is the same. She has to, she has to take 1 pill as soon as possible. She has to finish rest of the hormonal pills, but the iron pills have to be discarded. She has to use a barrier method for next 7 days, and in case of unprotected sexual intercourse in the last 72 hours, use an emergency contraception. Okay? So up to 48 hours, there is no problem at all. Major problem arises after 48 hours. Okay? So you can go through this, it's there in the PDF. Now we come to screening test. So we'll spend 5 minutes on screening. I want as quick as possible as answers. Can you name the properties of a screening test? Can you name the properties of a screening test? I've given you a mnemonic also. What are the properties of a screening test? The mnemonic is ARV. Can you tell me what does ARV stand for? क्या हो गया? Order में चलो. ARV, go in the order. First, the screening test has to be acceptable. Acceptability. Then what is it? It is reliability. Reliability. Then what is it? It is validity. These are the 3 properties of a screening test. ARV, acceptability, reliability, validity. Now let us see each one of them. What is this definition? Ability of a screening test to differentiate diseased from non-diseased. What is this definition? Diseased, that means what is the ability known to differentiate? A definition which will include TP also as well as TN also. Let me see who writes it correctly. Think a definition which is going to include TP is also TN also. Sensitivity is only TP. Specificity is only TN. Which is that definition which is going to have both TP as well as TN? Ankesh got it correct. For the first time, it is validity. I am asking you the ability to differentiate diseased. That means all those who have the disease, TP is from TN. So it is what? It is validity. A definition which has both true positives as well as true negatives. But if a question comes, ability of a screening test to identify all those who have the disease, what is your answer? This is sensitivity, only the TPs. We are talking about only the TPs. Ability of a screening test to identify all those who do not have the disease. Do not have the disease means what? Specificity, TN. And validity includes both sensitivity and specificity. So validity was both diseased as well as non-diseased. Okay? Please don't make this mistake, guys. It's commonly some students make this mistake. Don't do it. Okay. Now, suppose I am screening test positive. Do I really have the disease? So, probability of having disease out of those tested positive. Out of all the tested positive, how many really have the disease? PPV. Probability of not having disease out of those tested negative. Out of all those tested negative, how many really don't have the disease? That is what? NPV. Clear? एक ही गलती की, one mistake that all of you did, the definition, most of you I mean, the definition which includes both TP as well as TN is nothing but validity. Okay, moving ahead. Diagnostic power of a screening test to correctly include the disease. What is your answer here? Diagnostic power of a screening test to correctly include the disease. That means I have come screening test positive. Do I really have the disease? Is PPV. Diagnostic power of a screening test to correctly exclude the disease. What is that? I've come screening test negative. Do I really not have the disease? That is NPV. Okay? Okay. Moving ahead. Can you give me the synonyms for reliability, which came as a PYQ also? What other terms can you use for reliability? Reliability means getting the same results again and again. Very good. Repeatability, repeatability, reproducibility, reproducibility. Consistency, you are studying every day 2 hours, all right? Consistency, precision, consistency, precision. All these are synonyms for reliability, repeatability, reproducibility, consistency, precision. Okay. Let's revise this definition. I mean formula. Whose formula is the first one? TP upon TP plus FN. If you have to see numericals, you can check out the LRR also, guys. All this has been discussed in detail. So, abhi to one-liner hai, as quick as possible we have to answer. TP upon TP plus FN is sensitivity. Of course, everywhere you will multiply it by 100. That I have not written. Tn upon Tn plus Fp multiplied by 100. This is what, guys? Specificity. But all positives, everywhere 100 multiply. All positives, Tp upon Tp plus Fp. This is what? PPV. All negatives, Tn upon Tn plus Fn. This is what? NPV. Everything negative. But what is this which I have written here? Anybody? What is this last formula that I have written, guys? What is this last formula that I have written? Tp plus Tn upon Tp plus Fn plus Fp plus Tn. ये क्या है? Everything. What was the purpose of a screening test? Differentiate diseased from non-diseased. So, I need TPs also, I need TNs also. So, TP sensitivity, TN specificity. What is that formula? Validity. Alright. What is this? Validity. This formula is validity. Clear? Okay. Let's move ahead, guys. Tell me the answer to this. Time interval between first possible point of diagnosis and usual time of diagnosis. First possible point of diagnosis and usual time of diagnosis. What is your answer here? Time interval between first possible point. First possible point means no signs and symptoms. No signs and symptoms. Usual time means, of course, we have signs and symptoms. Good. This is lead time. Next one. Time interval between first point of diagnosis and critical point of diagnosis. What is this known as? Critical point. Critical point is the optimum time when we should use a screening test. Very good. Don't get confused. This is screening time. This is screening time. Alright. Time interval between first possible point of diagnosis and usual time is lead time. And the time interval between first possible point of diagnosis and critical time is screening time. Okay. Okay, what is this? Second test is applied on those individuals who are positive on the first test. What is it? Test in series or test in parallel? When you apply the second test on those who are positive on the first test, this is test in series, or you could also call it as sequential testing. Sequential testing, one after the other. But when both the tests are applied in together, test in parallel. Test in parallel also means simultaneous testing. Test in parallel का मतलब क्या होता है? Simultaneous testing. Both the tests are applied together. What happens to sensitivity and specificity in test in series? Remember, what is series? Second test will be applied on all those who are positive on the first test. So, think it this way. You will be able to filter out less people. So, in series, sensitivity decreases. If sensitivity decreases, automatically specificity increases. But what happens in parallel? Both the tests are applied together. So, I'll be able to filter out more and more number of people. So, what happens in test in parallel, guys? Sensitivity increases and specificity decreases. Sensitivity increases and specificity decreases. Just think it like this. Series means one after the other. So I'll be able to filter out less people. Parallel means both are together. So I'll be able to filter out more people. Okay. What is this screening known as? Screening for one's own benefit. Prescriptive or prospective? If you screen for somebody's own benefit. So screening for one's own benefit, guys, is prescriptive screening. But if you screen for others' benefit, prospective screening. Best example is immigrants को test. ठीक है, स्क्रीनिंग ऑफ इमिग्रेंट्स को स्क्रीन कर रहे हैं एट वेरेवर, ऑलराइट. ट्रैवलर्स को स्क्रीन कर रहे हैं एयरपोर्ट्स. HIV test in a pregnant woman, HIV test in a pregnant woman, that is all for the benefit of others. Food handlers checkup, food handlers checkup. So food handlers checkup again is for the benefit of others. Okay, so these are certain examples that you can do it. Now last thing here, can you tell me what is the name of this? What is the name of the test that we use to decide the cutoff or performance of a diagnostic test? To decide the ideal cutoff or performance of a diagnostic test, what is it that we construct? Very good, ROC curve. One more question I'll ask you about ROC curve. Receiver operating curve, operator curve. What do you plot on the x-axis and what do you plot on the y-axis? Remember, it is something like this, okay? So it is something like this. So on the x-axis, guys, for ROC curve, on the x-axis we have false positive, okay? False positive or 1 minus specificity, and on the y-axis we have true positive. On the y-axis we have true positive or sensitivity. If you want to refer to the detail, you can go to the lectures on the app as well. RR may be discussed. So if the question comes, ideal cutoff, ROC curve. More the area under the curve, better the cutoff. Alright. So I'll just write over here, more area under the curve, more area under curve, and area under the curve, better the cutoff. Alright, better the cutoff. More area under the curve is reflected by a term, Uden's index. Don't go into that much of detail right now, but you should know more area under the curve, better the curve. Good, Jadu my Deka, very good. Okay, what is the next one? Check for 5-year survival rate. So if the question comes, we are looking for survival rates. What is it that you're constructing, guys, for survival rate? Anybody in the comment section? Lokendra, good. Kaplan-Meier curve. We construct a Kaplan-Meier curve. Very good. It checks for survival rate. But the question comes, we are looking for level of agreement between two observers beyond chance. What is it that you're going to construct now? We are checking for level of agreement between two observers beyond chance. What is it that you're going to construct now? Level of agreement between two observers beyond chance. Good. Cohen's kappa statistics. Cohen's kappa. Alright. Predictive values are most affected by, direct question. Predictive values are most affected by, what is the answer to this? I just wanted to revise an equation, guys. Prevalence. PPV is directly proportional to prevalence and NPV is indirectly proportional to prevalence. So, predictive values are most affected by prevalence. Good. Which parameters of a screening test are independent of prevalence, guys? Which parameters of a screening test, everybody, are independent of prevalence? Can you tell me quickly? Parameters of a screening test? Good. Sensitivity and specificity. Sensitivity and specificity. They do not depend on prevalence. Whenever you get a question on prevalence, your direct answer is going to be predictive values. Sensitivity and specificity of a test are independent of prevalence. Okay. What is the answer to this? Gain due to a screening test is called as, what is it? Gain due to a screening test, advantage due to a screening test. Good. Gain due to a screening test is known as yield. Yield is not a property. It is something which we are gaining, some advantage that we are getting. Okay? So that finishes your screening. Maza aaya? All the buzzwords are done. All your definitions are done. All the formulas you've seen. Everything you've seen over here. Okay? So let's move to the next topic now. Okay. Environment, water. Let's go to water now. Okay, so the next question is, Disinfecting property of chlorine is due to. Disinfecting property of chlorine is due to. Just a second, guys. Disinfecting property of chlorine is due to. What is the answer to it? Disinfecting, अगर क्वेश्चन आया disinfecting property of chlorine is due to, it is due to HOCl and OCl minus. Due to both, guys, it is hypochlorous acid also, and hypochlorite ion also. But अगर क्वेश्चन आता है major disinfecting property, major disinfecting property is HOCl. This is 90%. 10% is only due to OCl minus. Chlorine acts best at what pH, guys? Chlorine acts best at pH. Anybody? Chlorine acts best at pH 7. Chlorine acts best at pH 7. It can act anywhere between 6.5 as well as 8.5, but it acts best at pH 7. 100 grams of bleaching powder releases how many grams of free chlorine? 100 grams of bleaching powder releases how many grams of free chlorine? 33 grams of free chlorine. Chlorine demand is measured by which instrument, everybody? Chlorine demand is measured by Horrocks apparatus. Chlorine demand is measured by Horrocks apparatus. क्या हो गया? Indicator which is used in Horrocks apparatus. What is the indicator that we use in Horrocks apparatus? Starch iodide. Starch iodide. Can you tell me the formula for this? N into 2 grams of bleaching powder will disinfect how many liters of water? N into 2 grams of bleaching powder is going to disinfect how many liters of water? Fill in the blanks. N into 2 grams of bleaching powder will disinfect how many liters of water? 455. Don't change that. 455. And N is equal to the first cup which shows color change. N is the first cup which shows color change. N is the first cup which shows color change. ठीक है? Suppose I give you a question. How many grams of bleaching powder will disinfect 455 liters of water if third cup is the first cup to show color change? Did you listen to the question? How many grams of bleaching powder will disinfect 455 liters of water if third cup is the first cup to show color change? What will be your answer? If the third cup is the first cup, very good, doc, we vibe. It is going to be 3 into 6, which is 3 to the 6 grams. Absolutely correct. Okay, what is this known as? The point at which chlorine demand is met. The point at which chlorine demand is met when we've calculated how much chlorine is needed to disinfect water. This is known as breakpoint chlorination, not free chlorine, breakpoint chlorination. When you calculate the point at which chlorine demand is met, it is breakpoint chlorination. After breakpoint chlorination, free chlorine released into water after this. Free chlorine released after this. Alright, free chlorine released after this. Once we've calculated the breakpoint chlorination is estimated, then only free chlorine is released. ठीक है? एक क्वेश्चन भी आता है, free chlorine is released before breakpoint chlorination or after? So free chlorine is released after breakpoint chlorination. ठीक है? Let's go to the next slide. Free or residual chlorine can be measured by anybody. Free or residual chlorine can be measured by. What are the ways to measure free or residual chlorine, guys? So it can be measured by chloroscope. That is an instrument. It could also be measured by OT as well as OTA test. Orthotoluene as well as orthotoluene arsenide test. Okay? Free chlorine can be measured by two things. What is the level of free chlorine in drinking water? 0.5 milligram per liter or 0.5 ppm. Outbreak or post-disaster, I'll just write it for you, milligram per liter. Swimming pool, 1 milligram per liter or same thing, 1 ppm. याद रखना guys, 1 milligram per liter is the same as 1 ppm. ठीक है? To kill cyclops and guinea worm, 2 milligram per liter or 2 ppm. Even for poliovirus, also poliovirus. But what is the contact time we will read? The contact period is of 30 minutes or 1 hour? Can anyone put in the comment section? Contact period कितना होता है? 30 minutes का होता है या 1 hour का होता है? Contact period is for 1 hour. Contact period is not 30 minutes, it's for 1 hour. Everywhere it's the same, 1 hour. Okay. Moving ahead, you have to tell me true and false for each of the statements. If I ask you, OTA test is better than OT test, बस true and false बताते जाओ guys. OTA test is better than OT test. True or false? Very good. True. Yellow color change within 10 to 15 seconds is due to free chlorine. What is it? True or is it false? Whenever you have to measure free chlorine, you use OT or OTA test. Don't use both the reagents. You will use either of the reagents. So what is the color that it produces on adding the reagent, guys? It produces yellow color. So the yellow color which is changed within 10 to 15 seconds is due to free chlorine. That is what? True. OTA test detects both free and combined chlorine separately. True. OT test can detect free chlorine separately. True. OT test can detect combined chlorine. True, but not separately. ठीक है? But not separately. It can't detect it separately. Guys, all these are PYQs, okay? All these are PYQs which I have given you in the form of one-liners. It can detect combined chlorine, but it will detect total minus free. It can't detect separately. ठीक है? मजा आ रहा है? And yellow color is what you have to see for free chlorine. Let's go to the next question. Most reliable and efficient indicator of fecal contamination of water is, what will you mark over here? What is the most reliable and efficient indicator? What is it that you're going, if you're doing surveillance of drinking water, what is it that you're going to look into water which will be provide you most reliable and efficient indicator for fecal contamination of water? Good, E. coli. Evidence of recent contamination of water, that the water has just got contaminated. What will you look for? Fecal streptococci. Fecal streptococci. But if I ask you remote contamination, long-standing contamination of water, what are you going to look at? Clostridium. What will you look for? Clostridium perfringens. Clostridium perfringens. Can you tell me the screening test for E. coli in water? The screening test is presumptive coliform test, presumptive coliform test or multiple tube method, presumptive coliform test or multiple tube method. And what is the diagnostic test? The mnemonic for diagnostic test is EIC. IG command test, IG command test, indole test, IG command test, indole test, and citrate utilization. IG command test, indole test and citrate utilization. Clear? Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Everybody done? Thumbs up? Okay. Don't get tired, okay? It's just a revision with one-liners. Most undesirable metal in water. Again a PYQ. Is it arsenic or is it lead? Most undesirable metal in water is lead. Surveillance of drinking water, basically we are doing. What is the pH level that it works? 6.5 to 8.5. But I've told you, chlorine acts best at pH 7. This we are just talking about, guys. Surveillance of drinking water. Alright, surveillance of drinking water. Chalo. Softening of water is recommended at a hardness level of 150 milligram per liter. When the level of hardness is 150, then we recommend softening of water. Temporary hardness of water is due to calcium and magnesium salts of calcium and magnesium salts of what? Of bicarbonates, But permanent hardness is due to calcium and magnesium salts of CNS. What is C, guys? Chlorides. What is N? Nitrates. And what is S? Sulfates. What is S? Sulfates. ठीक है? TDS. TDS पानी में standard prescribed कितना है? We want TDS 600, but maximum permissible level, guys, can go up to 1000. Chloride standard prescribed 200. Maximum permissible level can go up to 600. ठीक है, good, 600. Most effective method of disinfection of water for wells and slums. Which is the most effective method for disinfecting water in wells and slums? What is your answer? Wells and slums, kahin pe bhi guys, chlorination, and it is also the best, and it is also one of the things which can easily be done, because chlorine has a property which is known as residual property. Water remains disinfected, not boiling, water remains disinfected. That's a unique property of chlorine. So that finishes our water. Let's go to air now. Tell me the answer to this. Most important air pollution. In fact, don't write most important. Best likho. Best air pollution indicator, guys. Best air pollution indicator. What is the best air pollution indicator? Best air pollution indicator is sulfur dioxide. It is sulfur dioxide. But if the question asks most widely distributed air pollution indicator, most widely distributed, is it sulfur dioxide? Is it sulfur dioxide? Most widely distributed. Most widely is not sulfur dioxide, it is carbon monoxide. Good SS, it is carbon monoxide. Also, what are the names of other indicators? In case exam mein question aa gaya, other indicators. Other indicators is coefficient of haze, coefficient of haze, grit and dust measurement, grit and dust measurement, grit and dust measurement. ठीक है, उसके बाद और बताओ, very very important, soiling index, smoke or soiling index, smoke or soiling index. Don't write soiling index is for soil, smoke or soiling index. Suspended particle count, suspended particle count. ठीक है. And biological indicator is, biological indicator, any growth that you look for. So biological indicator, everybody, is lichens. Biological indicator is lichens. What is McArdle's index meant for? McArdle's index. What does McArdle's index measure? McArdle's index measures permissible sweat rate. It measures permissible sweat rate. And how much is this allowed, guys? 4.5 liters per 4 hours. 4.5 liters per 4 hours. McArdle's index. AQI का value आप अपने देख सकते हो. This came as a NEET PG PYQ. So I just wanted to revise. Have a look at AQI, which is commending on the population given by Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB. There is no very severe category. Okay, there is no very severe category at all. AQI. Okay, going to the next slide. Instruments, one of the most expected topics. Cooling power of air and low air velocity. What is it that you're going to mark? What measures cooling power of air and low air velocity? जितनी जल्दी हो सके ये लिख के बताओ. I mean, as soon as possible. Cooling power of this thing, Carta thermometer. It has a thin and narrow bulb, a red color bulb. You can remember its image. Okay, it has a very thin and narrow bulb, Carta thermometer. If you have to make one choice, it will be low air velocity. This will be the preferable answer. Radiant heat temperature or corrected effective temperature, something like this, a thick and wide bulb. That is what? That is a globe thermometer. That is a globe thermometer. What are the instruments for air humidity? Anybody? What are the instruments for air humidity? Hygrometer, hygrometer. What else? Hygrometer, sling psychrometers, sling psychrometer, sling psychrometer. Dry and wet bulb, hygrometer. Dry and wet bulb, hygrometer. Dry and wet bulb, hygrometer, which is one of the most commonly used. And Assmann psychrometer. Assmann psychrometer. Alright, Assmann psychrometer. Okay, Assmann psychrometer. These are the instruments. Okay, now suppose we light a candle. We light a candle. So brightness of a light source. Brightness of a light source is luminous intensity. It is what? Luminous intensity. Luminous intensity, which is measured in what terms, guys? Candela. Candela. Then the light starts to flow. So this is what? Flow of light. Flow of light is flux, flow, and its measured unit is, it's like it's going through a tube. So it is lumen. Then light falls on the surface. Light reaching the surface illuminates. LUM को कर दो lux. Brightness, light re-emitted by the surface is Lambert. Right, re-emitted by the surface is Lambert. Clear? Will you remember these couple of points, everybody? Okay. Don't always say answer candela. Power of a light source, brightness of a light source is only candela. Okay, moving ahead. A daily exposure of 85, this is about noise. So, a daily exposure of 85 decibel is the limit people can tolerate without substantial damage to hearing. Noise threshold for pain 140. Auditory fatigue 90 decibel. एक बार देख लो. When does rupture of tympanic membrane occurs, guys? Rupture of tympanic membrane occurs exposure to noise above 160 decibel. And this could be asked. Permanent deafness is around 100 decibels. Permanent deafness is around 100 decibels. ठीक है? Okay, let's come to one more thing, housing criteria. Floor space per person. One person needs how much of floor space? One person needs how much of floor space? 70 to 90 square feet. Two people need how much of spare space, floor space? 100 to 110 square feet. What about doors and windows? Doors and windows combine 2/5 of floor space. 2/5 of floor space. Roof should be more than at least 10 feet. 10 feet से ऊपर होना चाहिए. Setback is open space. So, open space in rural area is going to be more. Open space around the house. In rural areas, we can leave more space. 2/3. Urban areas में तो setback open area in urban places. जगह ही नहीं है. So, it is how much? 1/3. It is how much? 1/3. ठीक है? A couple of questions which could turn up. Now, let's go to solid and this waste disposal, everyone. So, let's have a look at the question. What is the best method to dispose of solid waste? What is the best method to dispose of solid waste? Anybody in the comment section? Best method to dispose of solid waste? Is it dumping? Is it burial? Is it manure pits? Best method to dispose of solid waste is control tipping, all right, control tipping or sanitary landfill, control tipping or sanitary landfill. And in this control tipping or sanitary landfill, trench method is the best. All right, for a population of 10,000, a population of 10,000, कितना मीटर डीप ट्रेंच टिक किया जाता है guys? 2 meter deep trench is dug. 2 meter deep trench is dug for which 1 acre land per year needed. 1 acre land per year is needed. But which is the most common? Area method is the most common. Alright, disused lands. We can go for disused lands and dump the waste there. Okay, disused lands is the more common area method. Rural areas, what do the people do at the back of their houses? They construct or build manure pits. ठीक है, रूरल एरियाज में क्या होता है? मैन्योर पिट्स. बट इफ वी गो कैंपिंग, वी विल गो एंड डू डीप बरियल. वी विल गो एंड डू डीप बरियल. Which method is not preferred as a mode of solid waste disposal? Anybody? कौन सा method prefer ही नहीं होता? Something which will not generate manure. See, the end product of solid waste disposal is manure, which we can use in farming. So, something which will not generate manure is not preferred. So, what is that method which is not going to generate manure? Incineration. Not preferred as a method of solid waste disposal, incineration. Also dumping. Another method was, another name that you should remember is compositing. Mnemonic is CBI. Compositing is achieved by two methods, guys. एक होता है Bangalore method और based on the names of the cities. एक होता है Indore method. Bangalore method relies on AN से हो गया anaerobic process. And Indore method relies on aerobic process. Clear? So, those were the techniques of solid waste disposal. Questions do come up on this. Let's go to sewage now. What is the sewage composition? Anybody? What is sewage? Sewage is liquid waste with excreta. Sewage is liquid waste with excreta. Can you tell me sewage composition in the comment section? How much water and how much solids, guys? How much water and how much solids does a sewage consist of? 99.9% water plus, not 99, 99.9% water plus 0.1% solids composition. ठीक है? Most important test done on sewage. What is the most important test that we do on sewage? It is BOD. Biological oxygen demand. And in terms of biological oxygen demand, what is strong sewage? When BOD is more than 500. ठीक है? No, not 500. When BOD is more than 300. Oxygen में it is less amount of oxygen. 300. Okay, strong sewage in terms of suspended particle counts, they are particles, so that is more than 500. Okay, that is more than, remember particles can be more, so that is more than 500, but in terms of biological oxygen demand, more than 300. What is the process that happens in primary sedimentation tank? Screening, grid chamber, sedimentation tank. Is it aerobic or anaerobic? What is the process that happens in primary sedimentation tanks, guys? Primary treatment of sewage में anaerobic process होता है, it's inside a tank. So what is it? It is anaerobic. Very good. Anaerobic. And what is the process which happens in secondary treatment? Secondary treatment में क्या है? Aerobic process. Secondary treatment is actually achieved by secondary treatment, trickling filter and activated sludge process. So heart of activated sludge process is aeration tank. These are methods of secondary treatment of sewage. और aeration tanks और ये सब में क्या होता है? Aerobic process. Alright, the word is aeration, aerobic. What about oxidation pond or ditches? Like we construct an oxidation pond for smaller areas. So here you have anaerobic, upper layer you have aerobic. So during the daytime in oxidation process, what is happening? Aerobic is more than anaerobic. But during the night time, guys, during the night time, anaerobic is more than aerobic. Anaerobic is more than aerobic. Very commonly they ask this, okay? Oxidation pond. In the lower layers it's anaerobic, upper layers it's aerobic. But daytime mein aerobic is more than anaerobic, night time mein anaerobic is more than aerobic. Primary sedimentation tank, it is anaerobic. Secondary treatment, whether you use trickling filter or activated sludge, it is aerobic. And this is the oxidation pond. Clear? Don't mess this up, guys. Okay, one more question I'm going to ask you. Which is the most efficient method to reduce organic matter in sewage? Most efficient, is it aerobic or anaerobic? Most efficient is aerobic process. But when we have highly concentrated sewage, guys, that has plenty of solids, then we would refer to a anaerobic process. Okay. Another question. Amount of sewage that flows through sewage pipelines in 24 hours duration. This is known as dry weather flow. This is known as dry weather flow. Last question from this, household treatment of sewage. How do you do household treatment of sewage? If we don't have access to sewage pipelines, then household में भी sewage तो generate होगा. So how are we going to treat that sewage, guys? Household treatment of sewage. What is the name of the equipment? Septic tank. Again a question comes, what is the process in the septic tank? So inside the tank, guys, what is the process inside the tank? Inside the tank again is anaerobic. And what is the process outside? Outside is which process? Aerobic. Outside is aerobic. ठीक है? Household treatment of sewage, septic tank. Inside anaerobic, outside aerobic. Alright, tell me the answer to this. PYQ, both of these. Maximum permissible dose of radiation exposure for a human being. How much is it? Maximum permissible dose of radiation for a human being. How much is it? Maximum permissible dose of radiation exposure for a human being. This is, where not 0.5, 5 rads per person per year. 5 rads. Yeah. 5 rads per person per year. Alright. But if somebody asks you thickness of lead apron, what is the thickness of lead apron? ये तुमने लिख दिया 0.5 mm. Okay. Thickness of lead apron is so much. ठीक है? 5 rads per person per year. Let's go to the next question. Now we have health, education and communication. Don't make that mistake. Lead apron का thickness 0.5 mm. Okay, the first question, what is this known as? The process by which individuals learn to behave in a manner conducive to promotion, maintenance and restoration of health. What is the answer to this? The process by which individuals learn to behave in a manner, is it health communication or is it health education? The process by which individuals learn to behave in a manner conducive to promotion, maintenance and restoration of health. What is the answer to this, guys? This is nothing but health education. This is nothing but health education. But exchange of ideas, feelings and information in the field of health, this is nothing but health communication. This is nothing but health communication. ठीक है. What about the communication cycle? कौन कौन होता है communication cycle में? Remember, there is a sender who frames a message. The message is delivered via a proper channel to the audience. Audience से आप लेते हो feedback and it is sent back to the sender. And over here you have a motivation model. The message should generate an awareness. It should be interesting, interest. फिर आपको motivate करना चाहिए. Then you are going to evaluate it and finally you are going to adopt it. Alright, this is the cycle. This is the motivation model. Interest, motivate, awareness, interest, motivate, evaluate and finally we are going to adopt. ठीक है. Now what is this one? Discussion of 4 to 8 experts in front of an audience. Highly expected. ITA. Yes, you can remember it as ITA. Discussion of 4 to 8 experts in front of an audience. So buzzword 4 to 8 experts can be panel also, symposium also. But if we are discussing it in front of an audience, it is panel. Buzzword, discussion between 6 to 12 members. If you see this buzzword, 6 to 12 members, what is your answer going to be, guys? FGD, focus group discussion. If you see series of 4 or more meetings under an expert, what is it? Series of 4 or more meetings under an expert. So this is what? Workshop. Series, not panel. Series of 4 or more meetings under an expert, that is workshop. But if you see this, series of speeches given on a given subjects, series of speeches, set agenda, set order of speaking. What is it? This is symposium. Very good, guys. This is symposium. Got it? Okay. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to some questions on disaster management as well. Tell me the phases of a disaster cycle. Tell me after impact, okay. You will have response. Like you have impact के बाद होगा after disaster basically. Response, rehabilitation, reconstruction. Rehabilitation, reconstruction. But what is it that happens before disaster, guys? This is after disaster. Before disaster, we go for mitigation and preparedness. Mitigation and preparedness. Remember, this is before disaster. They ask it. Mitigation and preparedness is before disaster. So what is this? Planning and legal measures to make communities safe and decrease impact of disaster. What are you going to answer this? Legal measures to make communities safe and decrease impact of disaster. That means prevent a hazard from becoming a disaster. This is most commonly asked these days, guys, mitigation. Okay, mitigation is prevent a hazard from becoming a disaster. जैसे buildings को earthquake resistant बना दो. ठीक है, that is mitigation. If you don't have earthquake resistant building, even a minor scale earthquake would make the building fall. So that is mitigation. Gather resources which may be required during disaster. This is preparedness. This is preparedness, or you could also call it as surge capacity. We can also call it as surge capacity. How well a country is equipped to fight a disaster. Surge capacity. What is the most common disease reported post-disaster? No doubt here, GI infections. GI infection. Most common disease reported post-disaster, GI infection. Most common vitamin deficiency reported post-disaster, everybody. Vitamin कौन सी deficiency आती है post-disaster? Vitamin A because of malnutrition. Because of malnutrition. Vitamin A because of malnutrition. Triage is done on the basis of likelihood of survival. I have discussed this in LRR also. You can go through that. Remember, red is high or highest priority, 0 to 6 hours. Then you have yellow, or you could also say you have blue. This is 6 to 24 hours. The person can wait. Yellow is medium priority, guys. Red is high or highest. Okay, red is high or highest. Don't say highest is red and yellow is high. No. Green, we all know, is ambulatory. They are moving about. And of course, black, you all know, is dead or morbid. That is the least priority. What is reverse triage? Can anyone tell me? I'll write it here. Where do we do reverse triage? So, we do reverse triage during war settings. Reverse triage is done during which settings, guys? War settings. We do reverse triage during war settings. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Most common long-term sequel of disaster. Anybody? Most common long-term sequel of disaster. What is your answer? Long-term sequel. Long-term sequel. बहुत दिन बाद देखने को मिलता है. I mean, it takes time. Protein, energy, malnutrition. That is the most common long-term sequelae of disaster. Most common zoonotic disease after floods. Most common disease is GI. But zoonotic disease, one of the zoonotic disease which is very common, leptospirosis. Not poverty. Okay, Alan? It's protein, energy, malnutrition. Okay? Good guess though. Most common zoonotic disease after floods, leptospirosis. Leptospirosis में याद रखोगे rat, rains, rice fields. Rat, rains, rice fields. But what is the diseases that take time to develop post-disaster? They are vector-borne disease, malaria and dengue. Alright, vector-borne disease. You won't see Kala Azar after disaster. No, it is malaria and dengue. Malaria and dengue. They take time to develop post-disaster. Okay, all vaccines are contraindicated in post-disaster phase except, you will not give any vaccine post-disaster phase except measles. That too you will give to children within 0 to 3 days. You should give it within 0 to 3 days. Why? That we have discussed in LRR. Okay? But vaccine that is meant for health workers who are working in disaster endemic zones, you need to keep them safe. So give them all the vaccines, typhoid, cholera, tetanus, hepatitis. All vaccines given except measles, because again measles is given to children. So you are not going to give it. Those who are working in disaster prone area, give them all vaccines except measles. Ministry for disaster, I just discussed it, Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry for disaster is Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay? When do you have World Disaster Reduction Day, everybody? So this one is second Wednesday of October. Second Wednesday of October. India में सबसे common है, which is it, hydrological disaster. India is most common hydrological disaster. Ministry of Home Affairs, two things. Census, counting the home, and houses get disrupted. So that is disaster. Done? Enjoying everyone? Okay. I hope I'm not going too fast. The speed is okay. Let's go to infectious disease epidemiology, and then we are going to have a look at couple of epidemiology one-liners. The time interval between, as quick as possible, 1 minute for this slide, not more than that. Time interval between entry of organisms and appearance of first sign and symptom. What are you going to call this? Time interval between entry of organism and appearance of first sign and symptom. What are you going to call it? Incubation period. Good. What is the term given for incubation period for non-communicable disease? Now, there's no, actually we don't have incubation period for non-communicable. So, we have, it is more for acute infections. The term is latent period. The term is latent period. Alright. First case of infectious origin which is introduced in the population. First case of infectious origin. First case of infectious origin introduced in the population is primary case. Cases developing following exposure to a primary case is secondary case. Cases developing following exposure to a primary case is secondary case. Time interval between occurrence of primary case and secondary case. So it's like an episode. It's like a serial. So what is this? Serial interval. But what is it known as? The first case that comes to the notice of an investigator. The first case coming to the notice of an investigator is index case. Index case. Time interval between entry of organism and maximum infectivity, generation time. Time interval between entry of organism and maximum infectivity, generation time. Time interval between entry of organism in 50% cases to occur. This is nothing but median incubation period. And time interval between entry of organism and coming lab positive. Lab positive matlab detecting markers in blood. Detecting markers in blood. So what is it? Detecting markers in blood. This is nothing but window period. This is nothing but window period. Clear? So these are some infectious disease epidemiology terms. Let's go to the next one. What is the term which is, given to something that you do for diseased people till period of communicability? Dash is done for diseased people till period of communicability or transmissibility of a disease. What is that thing that you do to diseased people for period of communicability? You're going to do what? Very good, Harish. Absolutely correct. Isolate him. Isolation. And what is done for healthy people for maximum incubation period? Healthy people who come in contact with cases, you are going to put them in quarantine. You are going to put them in quarantine. This is done for maximum incubation period. And this one, everyone, is known as absolute quarantine. If you do it for maximum incubation period, it is known as absolute quarantine. One doubt that all of you have, isolation and quarantine are primary level of prevention. They are not secondary. It is done to protect others. It is primary level of prevention. They are not secondary. What is the most important step in investigation of an epidemic? Is it verify the epidemic or is it confirm the diagnosis? Remember, the most important step for investigation is confirm diagnosis. Confirm diagnosis. Verify or verify the diagnosis, not verification of epidemic पहले. सबसे पहले हमें क्या करना है? हमें diagnosis को confirm करना है. When should investigation of an epidemic be stopped? No new case occurs. No new case occurs for twice the incubation period. For twice the incubation period from occurrence of last case. From occurrence of last case. No new case occurs for twice the incubation period from occurrence of last case. You could be asked to calculate this. No new case occurs for twice the incubation period from occurrence of last case. Okay. Now we are going to epidemiology. So quickly tell me, suppose there is an outbreak. जैसे COVID हुआ. Did we know it was COVID? No. We were calling it as pneumonia of unknown origin. So what is the preliminary study or the first study that you do during an outbreak, everybody? What is the first study that you would want to do? Would you want to do a descriptive study or would you want to do an analytical study, everybody? What is the first step or preliminary study that you do during an outbreak? Very good. It is the first study that you will do is descriptive study. The first study to be done during an outbreak is descriptive study. Alright, now let's go to some epidka questions. Let's take up epidemiology, guys. As quick as possible. An assumption yet to be verified. What do you call it? Good afternoon. An assumption yet to be verified. Hypothesis. Okay. Epidemiology now. 10 minutes we are going to take or 8 minutes we are going to take for epid. We will be revising one-liners from epid, biostats, vaccine, diseases and NHPs. Okay. And then a couple of other one-liners. So more we would take around 1.5 hours. So an assumption yet to be verified. Hypothesis. What is the study designed to formulate a hypothesis? Descriptive epid. Descriptive epid. What is the Study designed to test a hypothesis. Test a hypothesis is analytical epid. And what is it about confirm a hypothesis? Confirm a hypothesis is experimental or interventional. Experimental or interventional. Experimental or interventional. All right. With study design will help you study multiple exposures. Effect to cause. Multiple exposures, multiple risk factors. With study design helps you study multiple exposures, guys. I'm telling you also, effect to cause. Multiple exposures. Very good, Nico. Multiple exposures, case control. Effect to cause, guys. Already the disease has occurred. We can go back and interview them about the different causes. So, case control. Multiple outcomes, cause to effect. Alcoholics, we can study them for CVDs, hypertension, whatever we want, cancers, whatever we want. Multiple outcomes is cohort. Which study design is best for rare diseases, guys? Which one should you do for cancers? Why wait for cancers to happen? Start with people who already have cancers. So, for rare diseases, which study design you will prefer? Case control. Okay? For rare diseases, case control. Always start with people who are diseased. Rare exposures, example occupational exposures. Rare exposure, example occupational exposure. What is the best thing to do over here? Do a cohort. Okay, like factory mein, everybody is not working in a cement industry. So, we will do a cohort. Rare investigation aa gaya, which is less chance in NEET or FMGE, it's coming up, nested case control. Alright, nested case control. Rare investigation is nested case control. Let's go to the next slide. Measure of strength of association in a cohort study. What is it? Measure of strength of association in a cohort study. What do you use in a cohort study, guys? Measure of strength of association in a cohort study. We calculate relative risk, attributable risk, population attributable risk, all of those things. Okay? Relative risk, attributable risk, population attributable risk. Case control study, it is odds ratio. Odds ratio. Relative risk is also known as risk ratio. If somebody asks you incidence of disease among exposed versus non-exposed, what is it? Incidence of disease exposed versus non-exposed. Relative risk. Okay? Amount of disease proportion in the exposed group. What are the chances of disease happening in the exposed group, guys? So, that is attributable risk. But amount of disease proportion in the total population, if somebody asks you, that is population attributable risk. Total population is population attributable risk. Exposed group, only in the exposed group if you see, it is what? Attributable risk. Clear? Okay. Another question that comes up is interpretation of RR and OR. Suppose relative risk is more than 1 or OR is more than 1. Is it a risk factor or is it a protective factor? This is a positive association. This is a positive association, or you could say risk factor. If it is equal to 1, both, no association. But if it is less than 1, guys, it is less than 1, that means it is negative association, or you will remember it as protective factor. Suppose I say relative risk is equal to 0.8. So, what is this? This is a protective factor. Got it? Largest prospective cohort study is which one? Framingham Heart Study. Framingham Heart Study. Largest prospective cohort study is Framingham Heart Study. You should know this. Okay? Dolls and Hills also, guys, please note, Dolls and Hills study is a cohort study. Alright, Dolls and Hills study is a cohort study. However, largest prospective is Framingham Heart. Dolls and Hills also is a cohort study. Okay, couple of one-liners more, then we'll do a buzzword. Choice of study. If you're looking to calculate incidence, which study design will you use? If you're looking to calculate incidence, guys, incidence study, kaun si study design hoti hai? If I talk about incidence study, what is the study design that we're talking about? Incidence is calculated from cohort. Good. What about prevalence? If you're looking to calculate prevalence of a study, what is the study that we are going to look for? We are going to do prevalence is cross-sectional study. Prevalence is cross-sectional study. ऑल्सो रिमेंबर P इज इक्वल टू I इंटू डी. दिस इक्वेशन पे क्वेश्चन आता है ना. कॉज टू इफेक्ट, cause to effect, cause to effect, is it cohort or a case control? Cause to effect, cause to effect is cohort. Effect to cause, effect to cause, it is what? Case control. What about correlation study, aggregate study, population study? So unit of study in which study design is a population, guys. Whenever we are studying towns, cities, कौन सी study design use हो रही है यहाँ पे? Ecological study. जब भी हम लोग town, cities, population पढ़ते हैं, ecological study. Unknown etiology or disease of unknown origin. Like what is the disease? Like we don't know anything about the disease. It's happened for the first time. So what will I do? I would want to describe it. Descriptive study. Descriptive study. Measure exposure and outcome, same point of time using primary data. Which study design will you take over here? Measure exposure and outcome, same point of time using primary data, guys. Primary data, if we use it, is cross-sectional study at same point of time. But at same point of time using secondary data, we rely on previously collected data. This is ecological study. If we rely on primary data, cross-sectional. If we rely on previously collected data, everybody, it is ecological. Unit of study in ecological study design, I'm sure everybody knows, it is population. Unit of study in ecological study design is population. Got it? Okay, let's have a look at some buzzwords. Like suppose you see this in the exam, your answer has to be this, alright? Chalo. Distribution of disease. If you see the word distribution, study of distribution of disease, that means it is descriptive. If you are ever asked to say, let's go outside and look at the burden of disease. So for burden, what will you look at? For burden, what will you look at, guys? If you see the buzzword burden of a disease, estimate karna hai. Burden of a disease is, we are going to look at prevalence. Burden means prevalence. So you will do with study design, if you have to look at burden, you will always do a cross-sectional study design. You will always do a cross-sectional study design if you have to estimate the burden. Follow-up study is always cohort. Okay? But if you have to go backwards, backward study. Now backward could be a retrospective cohort, it could also be a case control. In a backward study where you look at past records, guys, we get data from past records, alright? That is retrospective cohort. That is retrospective cohort. But if I say backward looking study based on personal interviews, I am going backwards, but I am going to interview people. So I have the diseased and non-diseased. It will be case control. Because in retrospective cohort, I don't have diseased and non-diseased with me. I just go back and divide into exposed, non-exposed. But in case control, I have diseased and non-diseased. So I'll go back and do a personal interview. So that is case control. Clear? So that's the difference. Whenever you are going to compare exposed versus non-exposed, which study design is it? Exposed versus non-exposed, guys. Exposed versus non-exposed will always be a cohort, whether it's prospective or retrospective. But if you're going to compare diseased versus non-diseased, alright, diseased versus non-diseased, it is nothing but case control. It is nothing but case control. What is the buzzword? Matching. Where do you do matching, guys? Matching. If you see the word matching, that means you are referring to which study design? Case control study. Matching eliminates only known confounder. Matching eliminates only known confounders. Matching eliminates only the known confounders. Matching ही आप case control. You have to make sure that your cases and controls are similar. Clear? Alright, let's do a couple of more questions over here. What is the meaning of this? Systematic error in the design, conduct and analysis of study. Systematic error. This is a buzzword for what? If you ever in the question you see that we've conducted systematic error, not by chance, we have conducted them. Bias. Very good. Which study design do you see recall bias, selection bias, interviewer bias? कौन सी study design में देखते हो recall bias, selection bias, interviewer bias? Straight question है case control, ठीक है? Hospital admission bias. What is this bias known as? Bergsonian bias. Bergsonian bias. This is a type of selection bias. This is a type of selection bias which occurs due to different admission rates in a hospital. Attrition bias and Hawthorne bias. Where do you see attrition bias and Hawthorne bias, guys? Cohort study. Some common biases could come in your exam. Attrition is loss to follow-up. Subjects modify their behavior on being observed. What is this? Subjects modify their behavior on being observed. This is Hawthorne bias. Subjects modify their behavior on being observed. This is Hawthorne bias. How do you treat bias? B for B, blinding. How do you treat bias? B for B, blinding. Most common method to eliminate bias is double blinding. Alright, both the subject and the investigator are unaware. But the best method to eliminate bias is triple blinding. Subject, investigator and analyzer all are unaware. Clear? So that is one question that could come in your exam. Okay? Alright. One more thing I wanted to ask you, which is the gold standard of evidence-based medicine or established causation in the hierarchy of pyramid? Which one comes at the topmost, guys? Gold standard of evidence-based medicine. What is the gold standard of evidence-based medicine? Meta-analysis. Good. It occupies the topmost position. Alright. If you talk about funnel plot, everybody, funnel plot. What does funnel plot do? Funnel plot checks for publication bias. What does funnel plot do, everybody? Funnel plot checks for publication bias. Funnel plot checks for publication bias. It checks for publication bias. It is drawn both systematic review and meta-analysis. Forest plot is drawn only for meta-analysis. It gives you that one estimate. Okay? It's drawn only for meta-analysis. Most essential Hills criteria, temporality. Most essential Hills criteria, temporality. Least essential Hills criteria, specificity. What is temporality? Best established by cohort. Natural history of a disease is also best studied by cohort. Temporality is also best studied by cohort and natural history is also best studied by cohort. What is this temporality? Temporality means cause precedes effect. If you smoke, then only you will go on to develop lung cancer. Cause precedes effect. Smoking leads to lung cancer. So temporality and natural history both are best established by cohort study design. Okay? Okay. Now suppose in the exam a question come. All cases occur within one incubation period of the disease with rapid rise and rapid fall of cases. Explosive in nature. It is which type of epidemic that we are talking about? All cases occur within one incubation period of the disease with rapid rise and rapid fall of cases. Explosive in nature. So this is point source single exposure. Point source single exposure like this. Alright, this is point source single exposure epidemic. Example is food poisoning. Example is food poisoning. Bhopal gas tragedy. Bhopal gas tragedy. But if somebody asks you, all cases occur over more than one incubation period of the disease with secondary waves and prolonged plateau, guys. Something like this, prolonged plateau. What is this? This is common source. This is common source, continuous exposure. Common source, continuous exposure. What are the examples of common source, continuous exposure जो exam में आ सकता है? Commercial sex workers, contaminated well, also there is infected milkman. All of these are example of common source continuous exposure. Person to person transmission. What is this? This is nothing but propagated epidemic. Person to person transmission is propagated epidemic. Okay. Alright, give me a thumbs up if you're okay. We are going okay with the speed, everyone. Let's move to now a couple of questions from Biostats. 3 to 4 slides I will show you in biostats with the buzzwords which would help you understand the answers, as well as I'm going to give you out a couple of formulas that can be helpful for you in the exams. So let's have the first slide. If I say quantitative data are continuous, mean calculated. So what is the scale of measurement? What do you mean by quantitative data? They are measurable. When I say measurable, measurable means they have a unit. Okay? Yes, I will teach program. Just like we will take up program from 2:30 to 3 o'clock will be diseases and programs. Before 2:30, the rest of the things we're going to see, and 2:30 to 3 o'clock, we will have a look at couple of diseases and programs which could come in your exams. Okay? Quantitative data, continuous. Continuous means you can measure them in a unit, they can expressed in a decimal. Scale of measurement is dimensional or metric scale. Alright, dimensional or metric. But qualitative data, non-measurable. They don't have a unit. They are discrete. What is the scale of measurement? Nominal or ordinal. ठीक है? Suppose I give you an exam में question, stage of cancer. Which scale would you like to prefer over here? Staging of cancer. कौन सा scale होगा? If I give you staging of cancer, guys, which scale are you going to use here? Stage of cancer. Stage of cancer में कौन सा scale होगा? Good, that's an order. So we'll go for which scale over here? We'll go for ordinal scale. Okay. Now what is this? Sum of all if I give you types of delivery, which one will you use? Types of delivery. Which scale would you use? Types of delivery. Now remember, types of delivery is qualitative. You can't measure delivery. Okay? But you can say how many people had vaginal delivery, had C-section. But types of delivery would be which scale, guys? It would be nominal scale, not ordinal. You can't say that C-section is better than vaginal delivery or vaginal delivery is better. No, it's just based on names. Okay? So types of delivery would be nominal scale. Alright. Now what is this? Sum of all observation divided by total number of observation. What is your answer here? Sum of all observations divided by total number of observations. This is the definition of sum of all observations divided by total number of observations. Mean. Good. Statistically, the best measure of central tendency, everyone, is mean. It includes all observations. All observations. Statistically, the best measure of central tendency is mean. It is going to include the sum of all observation. It's not going to leave behind any data. Middle value when data is arranged in ascending or descending order. The middle value. The middle value, guys, is median. Middle value is median. Now, if we have odd number of observations, your median is the middle value. But when you have even number of observations, your median is going to be the average of two middle values. It will be the average of two middle values. Remember this. Median is the middle value. If you have odd number of observations, it's just the middle value. But if you have even number of observations, it's the average of the two middle values. Okay. What's the answer to this? Most frequent value occurring in any data set. What do you have to answer here? Most frequent value occurring in any data set. Most frequent value. This is mode. Good. Best measure of central tendency for skewed observation. That means skewed observation means you have outliers. So when outliers are present, which is your best measure of central tendency? Median. Most affected measure of central tendency for skewed observation. Most affected measure of central tendency for skewed observation is median. Too high or too low values in a data set. This is known as outliers. Too high or too low values in a data set, guys. What do you call it as? Outliers. If you have outliers, it is skewed. And what is the best measure of central tendency for a skewed observation? It is always median. Okay. Let's move to this. Name the measures of dispersion, spread of data, range. What is the formula for range? Just revising the formulas over here. Have a look over here. Maximum value minus minimum value. I'll just write the formulas. What is standard deviation? It is nothing but square root of summation mu I minus mu whole square by n. But what is the question that comes? If sample size is less than 30, guys. What is standard deviation? It is square root of summation mu I minus mu whole square by n minus 1. What is coefficient of variation? Standard deviation upon mean into 100. What is variance? Variance is standard deviation square. Last minute revision for a couple of formulas. Got it? Okay, let's have two more formulas. Standard error of mean. Standard error of mean is standard deviation upon square root of n. Standard error of proportion, square root of PQ by N. What is P? P is equal to prevalence. And what is Q? Q is equal to 100 minus P. Q is equal to 100 minus P. Whatever you get, Q is equal to what? 100 minus P. Confidence interval. When you have to calculate confidence interval of mean, it is mean plus minus 2 95%. Let's say standard error use karna, standard deviation nahi use karna. And when you have to calculate confidence interval of proportion, again you will be using standard error. So it would be, confidence interval would be P plus minus 2 standard error of proportion. And I have already told you what is standard error of proportion. Okay, we've already seen what is standard error of proportion. Okay, normal distribution curve. What is normal distribution curve? Mean is equal to, what is the normal distribution? Can anyone tell me in the comment section? Normal distribution curve क्या होता है? Mean, median, mode, all are equal. Mean is equal to median is equal to mode. It could be anything. 100, 200, 500, 600. But what is standard normal curve? When would I use the word standard? When mean is equal to median is equal to mode is equal to 0. If it is 0, it is standard normal curve. Total area under the normal distribution curve is always 1. For a normal distribution curve, mean is equal to 0 and area means dispersion. Standard deviation is 1. Right or positively skewed data, what is this? Mean is more than median is more than mode. What about left-sided or negatively skewed distribution? Mean is less than median is less than mode. What is Poisson's distribution? Discrete event distribution. Discrete event probability, you can say. Discrete event probability. Discrete event probability. Meaning when will a meteorite strike a earth? ठीक है? Discrete event probability. चलो, mean plus minus 1 SD covers 68% observation. Mean plus minus 2 SD covers 95%. Direct questions hai. Mean plus minus 3 SD covers 99% observation. Mean plus minus 1.64 SD covers, giving you one extra 90% observations. All these are questions, guys, which can turn up in the exams. Let's go forward now. Let's go forward. Let's have a look at some graph. Okay. What is the name of the graph that is going to represent frequency of continuous variables? Just an exam mein question aaya. Frequency of continuous variables is denoted by. Frequency of continuous variable is denoted by. Good. Histogram. Histogram. Good. Graph to represent frequency of discrete variables. That means qualitative variables. Bar. Dekho, bar mein GAP, you will find a gap. So wherever you have gap, gap is a 3-letter word, bar is a 3-letter word. Joining of midpoints of histogram using straight lines, guys. This is a frequency polygon. This is a frequency polygon. Trends of disease with time. What is your answer here? Trends of disease with time. What is your answer over here? Trends of disease with time. This is a line chart. Constant, that's a incidence of a disease, line chart. Constant increase of cases with time. There is no dip. This is ogive. Ogive is also known as cumulative frequency curve. Ogive is also known as cumulative frequency curve. When you have to express correlation, what is the word that you're going to use? जब आपको correlation express करना है, scatter diagram. Correlation is scatter diagram. Always in circles, pie chart. Percentage use होता है. Layman person, pictorial representation, pictogram. What about local distribution of cases? Spot maps. Local distribution of cases, spot maps. Overlapping possibilities like this. What is the best? I'm going to select this. This is what? Venn diagram. Overlapping possibilities, Venn diagram. 5-point statistics. 5-point statistic means a graph which will help us show measures of location. Alright, measures of location, quartiles, measures of location or position, meaning it will help us show quartiles, centiles, quintiles, okay. All of that. Basically for quartiles we will have what? Box and whisker plot. It is something like that, okay. So this is box and whisker plot. This helps you show measures of location or position. Box and whisker plot. Okay. Alright. Let's go to another question. Null hypothesis true but rejected. Which type of error is it? Null hypothesis true but rejected. The buzzword is true. Null hypothesis true. That means your drug is not good, really. But in the clinical trial, you showed it to be good and launched your drug in the market. This is type 1 error, or you will remember it as alpha error. If I say null hypothesis false but accepted, that means your drug is good. But unfortunately, you could not show it. So, this is what? Type 2 error, or I am going to call it as beta error. Remember, type 1 error is false positive and type 2 error is false negative. What is p-value? Probability of conducting a type 1 error, probability of committing or probability of conducting a type 1 error. What are my chances of conducting a type 1 error? We can conduct less than 0.05. If you have less than 0.05, it is statistically significant. Statistically significant. What do I mean by statistically significant? Which implies new drug is good, alright, and we have shown that. It means new drug is good. When p-value is less than 0.05, it means result is statistically significant. नया drug अच्छा है. Power of a study क्या होता है? 1 minus beta. Power of a study is 1 minus beta. Okay. Now, let's go to this one. Non-parametric test to compare qualitative data between two or more than two groups. Which one do you want to use? A non-parametric test to compare qualitative data between two or more than two groups. क्या use करना चाहोगे? Non-parametric test to compare qualitative data. Qualitative, guys. Qualitative is chi-square, most commonly used. Okay. Parametric test to compare quantitative data, means and SDs in single group. TAP, T is t-test. Over here, which will we use? Paired t-test. To compare quantitative data in two groups, unpaired t-test, unpaired t-test. To compare quantitative data in 3 or more than 2 groups, this is what? ANOVA. Like mean hemoglobin in a group of dengue patients versus malaria versus filaria patients. Also guys, in this PDF, I have given you a chart where you can have a look at all the names of the tests, guys. Like paired t-test, here it is TAP, the mnemonic. Here you will remember it with fancy names. So I have put out all the tests. You can look at it. Remember one thing. If you get a quantitative variable, quantitative, you will always use parametric. Quantitative variable means they have a unit. If you get a qualitative variable, you will always use what, guys? Non-parametric. Okay? Then same thing. You have to look at one group, two group, or more than two groups. Okay? So you can go through this once again. Last question from Biostat. Every kth nth interval is selected. What is the type of sampling that we are talking over here? If I say every kth nth interval is selected, what are you going to mark? If I say every second, every fifth person is selected, what is your answer here? Very good. It is systematic random sampling. Systematic random sampling. If I say every third person, every fifth person is selected. Alright. Sampling method where heterogeneous population is converted into homogeneous. That means you divide them into groups. This one is stratified random sampling. This is actually the best, okay? We divide the population into different groups. Sampling frame जहाँ आपको चाहिए, list of individuals. This one is simple random sampling. Simple random. It is only done for homogeneous population. 13-7 concept cluster sampling. कहाँ पे use होता है? Immunization coverage. Immunization coverage. What about hidden population? Like if I want to do a study on commercial sex workers, which type of sampling I'm going to use, guys? Hidden population. Hidden population के लिए we are going to use snowball sampling. We are going to use snowball sampling. Okay. Now, next couple of minutes, 8 to 9 minutes, we're going to have a look at vaccines one-liners, okay? After vaccines one-liners, we would be shifting to diseases and those topics. So, let's have a quick look at vaccines. What is the name of the strain for yellow fever? जितनी जल्दी लिख सकते हो उतनी जल्दी लिखो. What is the strain of yellow fever, guys? What is the strain of yellow fever? Yellow fever and JE, they both have numbers in them. Yellow fever is 17D. JE, now if you have live JE, it is SA 14-14-2. But if you have killed J, guys, if you have killed J, you will remember GEV, you will also remember Genvac. Genvac is nothing but Kolar strain. GEV is using the killed form of SA 14-14-2. But if you just see SA 14-14-2, that is live J. Rubella RA 27-3. Now, two diseases that start with the M have fancy name. Measles, Edmonston, Zagreb. What is it? Edmonston, Zagreb. What is mumps? Gerald Lynn. BCG, Danish, 1331. ठीक है, रुबेला दो बार आ गया, सॉरी. कॉलरा, ड्यूक ओरल सैंचोल, easy to remember. CH, cholera, ड्यूक ओरल. And one more thing, Oka, K for chicken pox. Oka, K for chicken pox. Oka is K for chicken pox. Okay, let's go to another question. Should you want to revise the NIS ones? Let's quickly talk about National Immunization Schedule. What are the vaccines given at birth? BCG, OPV 0, hepatitis B. 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 14 weeks. You have OPV 1, OPV 2, OPV 3. You have rotavirus 1, rotavirus 2, rotavirus 3. Rotavirus penta 1, penta 2, penta 3. Then what do you have? You have fractional IPV 1, fractional IPV 2, PCV 1, PCV, pneumococcal conjugate. 9 completed months, what are you giving? MR 1, JE 1, fractional IPV का third dose and PCV booster. 16 to 24 months, MR2, JE2, and for the first time we are going to give OPV booster, the only live vaccine that requires a booster, OPV booster and DPT first booster. 5 to 6 years you are going to give what? You are going to give DPT second booster, and 10 and 16 years TD1, TD2. Remember, it is TD, it's not TT in NIS. And of course at 9 months you will also give what? You will also give vitamin A. So how much vitamin A we are going to give? 1 ml or 1 lakh international unit. Thereafter every 6 months, till 5 years. Till 5 years, how much will you give? 2 ml or 2 lakh international unit. 2 lakh international unit. Clear? PCV 13. That's what we are giving. Alright? Delayed immunization till 1 year. What are the vaccines you can give? Very commonly asked, BCG, Penta, Rota. Remember this, Penta, Rota till 1 year. FIPV, PCV. Till 5 years, measles, rubella, OPV, vitamin A. Till 7 years, DPT. J till 15 years. J vaccine till 15 years. Clear? Okay. One more table I wanted to revise with you was contraindications. So, pregnancy, all live vaccine contraindicated, except which one can you give? except yellow fever. You can give yellow fever. Lactation में yellow fever is contraindicated. General fever, diarrhea. If a person comes to you, if a baby comes to you as having mild fever, diarrhea, no contraindication. Please give all the vaccines. Protein energy, malnutrition, no contraindications. ठीक है? All right. Asymptomatic HIV, no contraindication. But symptomatic in adults, all live vaccines except measles and varicella. In newborn, you will not give BCG. All live vaccines contraindicated, but you can only give OPV as well as measles. Sibling of HIV plus symptomatic child, OPV. Progressive neurological disease, DPT penta, because of pertussis. Due to which component, guys? Pertussis. Epilepsy, again DPT penta, because of pertussis. But epilepsy controlled by anti-epileptics, कोई contraindication नहीं है. If epilepsy has been controlled by anti-epileptics, there is no contraindications for epileptics like that has been controlled by anti-epileptics. Okay. Egg allergy, tell me the vaccines that are contraindicated in egg allergy, guys. Yellow fever and influenza. Yellow fever and influenza. Neomycin allergy, measles. Abdominal surgery, rotavirus because of interception. High grade fever, all vaccines. All vaccines. Please don't give it. Killed vaccine may we only have like previous current serious illness, anaphylaxis to previous dose, pregnancy and all, we will not give live vaccines. Okay? Done? Okay, this chart you can do yourself, guys. I have put out this chart for adverse events. Also, BCG vaccine का adverse event क्या है? Most common adverse event is ulcer. Most common adverse event is ulcer. Some of the questions that have come from here, you can go through it. Interception बहुत पूछा गया है. However, pertussis का screaming, inconsolable crying, no longer an absolute contraindication. No longer an absolute contraindication. If a baby suffers from inconsolable crying, it is no longer an absolute contraindication. Alright, last over here, monitors vaccine stock, distribution and cold chain logistics. What do you call this? What do you call this, guys? IT, technology based initiative, something that monitors vaccine stock, distribution. Good. Even electronic vaccine intelligence network, very good. Electronic vaccine intelligence network. Tablet based, this one for ANM application, this is what? Anmol. Surveillance and action for events following vaccination, this is what? SafeVac. A digital immunization registry to track immunization 0 to 5 years old में, this is what? UVIN. Mobile based voice messaging service by the Government of India providing weekly audio messages on maternal and child health. This is Kilkari app. This is Kilkari app. Great, great. Alright, reuse of partially used multi-dose vials in subsequent sessions. What is open vial policy? What is open vial policy? Partially used vials. You can use up to how many weeks, guys? 4 weeks or 28 days. Provided certain situations are fulfilled. Cold chain temperature is maintained, vial septum is not contaminated, all of that. Which vaccines follow open vial policy? Remember the mnemonic, all T-series vaccine plus PIO plus J killed, not live, J killed. All T-series vaccine means those that have letter T in it. DPT penta, hepatitis B, TT, TD, Rota follows now, rotavirus vaccine open vial policy follow करता है. What about PIO, PCV, IPV, OPV? And of course you have one more which is J killed. That do not follow these ones. Reconstituted vaccines जिसमें हम लोग डायलुएंट डालते हैं, जैसे BCG में डायलुएंट इज नॉर्मल सलाइन, मीजल्स में डायलुएंट इज डिस्टिल्ड वाटर, स्टेराइल वाटर, डिस्टिल्ड वाटर. JE the diluent is cold saline. JE the diluent is cold saline. Yellow fever it is what? Phosphate buffer. Yellow fever it is what? Phosphate buffer. ठीक है. What is the update that you will remember? Japanese encephalitis killed. Guys, ये intramuscular route से thighs में देते हैं, ठीक है. This is given by intramuscular route in the thighs. So you should remember which vaccines follow, and you should remember which vaccines do not follow open vial policy. Okay. All right. Just quickly, cold chain. Which is the most heat sensitive vaccine? Most heat sensitive vaccine, remember the mnemonic, R-bomb. So most heat sensitive vaccine is reconstituted BCG. Then it is OPV, not BCG, reconstituted BCG. Then it is measles. So most heat sensitive is reconstituted BCG. Most freeze sensitive, everybody, hepatitis B. How do you check for loss of potency of vaccine to heat? You check for VVM, vaccine vial monitor. Inner square lighter than outer circle, you will use. Inner square darker or same color as outer circle, discard. And remember the chemical किस में होता है? Inner square में होता है. Not in the outer circle. It's outer circle, inner square. Chemical is in the inner square. Loss of potency of vaccine to cold. What do we use, guys? We use what is known as shake test. Cold chain temperature of vaccines in India, +2 to +8. Most important vaccine equipment of cold chain is ILR, ice-lined refrigerator. Not write this one, write maximum chance of cold chain failure, maximum chance of CC failing, cold chain failure. Where is maximum chance of cold chain failure? Sub-center and village level. Maximum chance of cold chain failure is sub-center and village level. Maximum failure, okay, we did it, sub-center, alright. Vaccine carrier can carry how many vaccine vials? 16 to 20 vaccine vials, lined by how many ice packs? 4 ice packs. Day carrier can carry how many vaccines vials? Everybody, 6 to 8 vaccine vials, and it is lined by how many ice packs, guys? 2 ice packs. What is the vaccine that is placed at the bottommost of ILR? Remember, when you open an ILR, all cold air goes to the bottom. So at the bottom you can't have the heat freeze sensitive vaccine. You will have the heat sensitive. So what is it? OPV. Vaccine at topmost of an ILR, hepatitis B. Monitoring of temperature of ILR, what do we do, guys? Dial thermometer. This dial thermometer is based on the principle of thermocouple. Why do you have holes in the ice pack? Ice packs are prepared in deep freezers. Why do you have holes in the ice packs, guys? To keep the vaccines. To keep vaccines. You have to keep which vaccines? Heat sensitive vaccine. You will not keep the freeze sensitive. You will keep the heat sensitive vaccines like OPV, like BCG. Measles, more important. And what is reverse cold chain? This is carrying stool samples. Carrying stool samples from suspected AFP cases. Stool samples from suspected AFP cases. Suspected AFP cases. This is what is reverse cold chain. Got it? Okay, so that was major of the things we have done. Now I'm going to the last part where we will discuss a couple of diseases, NHP, some preventive obs and pediatrics portion. Okay, so let's start. Low weight for height. What is the indicator over here? Low weight for height. Can anyone tell me the indicator over here? Low weight for height. What is your answer here, guys? Low weight for height. J. Now we prefer the killed JE under NIS, alright, GEVE, which is India's own product. Low weight for height means acute malnutrition. Acute malnutrition. Acute malnutrition is what? Wasting or emaciation also you can call it. Low height for age is what, everybody? Chronic. It is chronic. Chronic malnutrition is stunting. But if I just say low weight for age is underweight. So that is acute on chronic. Acute on chronic. Age independent marker for malnutrition, everybody, Shakir's tape. Shakir's tape is age independent. It is the same for 6 months to 5-year-old. It is the same for 6 months to 5 years old. Shakir's tape. 6 months to 5 years old. Green color क्या होता है? Mid upper arm circumference more than 12.5 centimeter. Yellow color, that is 11.5 से 12.5 centimeter. Red color is below 11.5 centimeter. ठीक है, this is Shakir's tape. SAM criteria, severe acute malnutrition. This is again mid upper arm circumference below 11.5 centimeters. Or low weight for height below -3 SD, and or okay, bilateral pitting edema. Clear? Markers of malnutrition. Sometimes they do ask about markers of malnutrition. Okay, all right, moving ahead. Virulence of a disease indicator. Just tell me the name as quick as possible. Which indicator is used to measure the virulence of disease? Virulence of disease is measured by which indicator? It is CFR, case fatality rate. Good guys. What about communicability of disease? Communicability or transmissibility? Secondary attack rate. Simplest measure of disease burden, proportional mortality rate. Simplest measure, proportional mortality rate. Best measure of disease burden is DALI. Best measure is what? DALI. DALI is the best measure of disease burden. Overall development of a country and population. Which one? Which indicator you would like to use? All are one-liners. Infant mortality rate. Overall development of a country and population. Good, you're answering very fast. Great. Best indicator of availability, utilization and effectiveness of health services. Again, it is infant mortality rate. UN indicator for country development. What is the UN? If I use the word UN, U5MR, under 5 mortality rate or child mortality rate. ठीक है? Best indicator of combined obstetrics and pediatrics care, when the baby is in the womb as well as outside, that is what? Perinatal mortality rate. Best indicator of healthcare delivery services, maternal mortality ratio. Healthcare delivery services, best indicator is maternal mortality ratio. Knowledge, what is that indicator where you take kill? Knowledge, income, life expectancy at birth. Knowledge में you use expected years of schooling and mean years of schooling. Expected years of schooling and mean years of schooling. What is that indicator? Mean years of schooling. You use both of this. Expected years and mean years. Very good. HDI. ठीक है? Human Development Index. It is scored from 0 to 1. Currently, India का rank is 134. Score is 0.644. And ill. This is what? PQLI. Also, one more I wanted to discuss, Global Hunger Index. Can you tell me the indicators for Global Hunger Index, guys? So, you look at a child who's begging on the street, he's very weak. So, inadequate nutrition, inadequate food supply. The first one is inadequate food supply. Inadequate food supply is what? Undernourishment. Now, because of inadequate food supply, the baby suffers from wasting and stunting. So, this is what? Undernutrition. Ultimately leading to death. Death could be up to under 5 mortality rate. ठीक है? IMR is not a part of that. Alright. Minimum antenatal visits according to WHO. Minimum antenatal visits according to WHO. Quick guys, we just have 30 minutes left with us. Minimum antenatal visits according to WHO, 8. Minimum antenatal visits according to GOI, 4. ठीक है? 8 में remember 1 visit in the first trimester. 1 visit in the first trimester. 2 visits in the second trimester. And remaining कितना हो गया? 3 visits. That is in the third trimester. If nothing is mentioned, okay, if they don't mention GOI or Government of India or WHO, and in the option you see 4, please go for that. Minimum postnatal visit is 3 to 4. Okay. Next 2 slides you will go on your own, you'll do on your own. I've just put down what are the high risk pregnancies because this is a PYQ. Here I want you to notice short stature is height less than 140 centimeter, and over here I also want you to notice history of 3 or more spontaneous abortion. Rest you can go through yourself once. High risk infant, again I want you to notice birth weight below 2.5 kg and birth order 5 or more. Also failure to gain weight in 3 successive months and babies are working mother or parents. That all is high risk. ठीक है? Okay. What is the most common direct cause of maternal mortality, guys? Direct cause of maternal mortality, PPH. Indirect cause of maternal mortality, anemia. Most common cause of neonatal mortality rate, under 5 IMR. What is this? This is low birth weight or prematurity. This is low birth weight prematurity. ठीक है? Low birth weight prematurity. Also, I will just discuss maternal mortality का one-liner once. Suppose I ask you, pregnant woman slips in the washroom and dies. Will you include as maternal mortality? Pregnant woman slips in the washroom and dies. Will you count it as maternal mortality, guys? Pregnant woman slips in the washroom and dies. Will you count it as maternal mortality, everybody? No. What is maternal mortality? So, just quick revision of maternal mortality. Maternal mortality is the death during antenatal period, during ANC, during delivery, or up to 6 weeks post delivery. 6 weeks post delivery. Alright, 6 weeks post delivery. From pregnancy and related causes. Pregnancy and related causes. Pregnancy and related causes. But you have to exclude accidental/incidental cause. Exclude accidental/incidental causes. ठीक है, remember that. और ये बहुत पूछता है. And maternal mortality is the only formula where the multiplier is 1 lakh. ठीक है, if time permits, I'll give you the formulas also at the end. Okay. Tell me this one, maternal and child health initiatives. Increase institutional delivery. What is the name of the program? Increase institutional delivery. What is the name of the program, guys? Where we are focusing on increasing institutional deliveries by providing incentives. JSY, Janani Suraksha Yojana. You will focus on the full form as well. Free service for pregnant and sick infants. Free service and sick infants. What was this one? JSSK, Janani Sishu Suraksha Karikram. Free screening for ANC females on the 9th of every month. The logo yaad hai? It's something like this. There is a pregnant woman's photo and we are protecting her like this. Pradhan Mantri Surakshit. Let me write the full form. You might forget it. Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan. Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan. Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan. Alright, that is 9th of every month. Moving ahead, labor room quality, improvement of labor room quality, Lakshya. Train doctors and ENMs for intrapartum and immediate postpartum care, that is Dakshata. फिर कोई maternal program where we are talking about a service guarantee charter, zero tolerance policies. It also includes for the first time women up to 6 months post delivery, also including children plus infants. Alright, what is this program? Suman. Surakshit Matritva Ashvasan. This is Ashvasan. Screening 0 to 18 years old for 4 days. This is Rashtra Bal Swasthya Karikram. In this now we also have TB and leprosy included. Almost there are 34 diseases now. Earlier 32 था, अब 34 हो गया. 10 to 19 year Rashtra Kishore Swasthya Karikram. Okay. Home based newborn care. How many visits? Home based newborn care, if I talk about, guys, home based newborn care, how many visits? So this is being made by Asha worker. In case of home delivery, it was 7 visits. 7 visits. ठीक है? In case of vaginal delivery or hospital delivery, 6. C-section, it was 5. C-section, it was 5. So you can just remember day 1, 3, 7, 14, 19, 21, 28 and 42 day. You also have home-based care of young child 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 months. This is being done for low birth weight babies. This you can go through. Facility based, we have newborn care corners in every labor room. We have newborn stabilization unit where you will manage low birth weight babies from 1.8 to 2.5 kg. Special newborn care units, low birth weight babies below 1.8 kg. Indian Newborn Action Plan क्या होता है? INAP, single digit neonatal mortality rate and stillbirth rate by 2030. Okay, Indian newborn. This is Indian Newborn Action Plan. Indian Newborn Action Plan. We want to achieve a single digit NMR and MMR. Stillbirth rate. Okay. IMNCI covers what age group children? Everybody quickly batao. IMNCI covers what age group children? 0 to 5 years. And we have to protect from which diseases, guys, which come as separate questions? ARI, pneumonia, diarrhea, and there are 3 M. What is it? Measles, malaria, malnutrition. Measles, malaria and malnutrition. Okay? This one just came in INI-CET. R stands for reproductive initiative, reproductive. M stands for maternal health. N stands for neonatal health. C stands for child health. A stands for adolescent. All this is health. What is this N? N stands for nutrition, guys. N stands for nutrition. So, abhi INI-CET mein they had asked, is geriatrics a part of RMN-CAH plus N? No. Geriatrics is not a part of RMN-CAH plus N. Chalo, now we quickly go to our programs. We're going to talk about a couple of programs, guys. Then we'll see if we have time. We are going to do a couple of more things. Okay? So as quickly 15-20 minutes we'll take for discussion of the programs. So let's talk about this. Yellow fever control. A couple of questions come. What is the type of vaccine? Live vaccine. Okay? What is the strain? 17D. 17D. Immunity starts from 7 days of vaccination. Immediately the person is not immune. Validity of vaccination certificate. It lasts lifelong. These are the questions which have come many times in your exam. But suppose if I don't have vaccination certificate and I'm traveling to an endemic zone, quarantine for travelers without vaccination certificate is how many days? 6 days. Okay? Aedes aegypti index or house index should be below 1% around 400 meters of ports. We have to survey the houses around airports and seaports and we have to see that Aedes aegypti index is below 1%. Sorry, Aedes aegypti index is below 1%. So that was yellow fever. Next, J. Japanese encephalitis ka vector, guys, most expected Culex. Now, J ka life cycle turns up in the exam. So, if you talk about birds, birds are the natural reservoir. Are you with me, everybody? Birds are the natural reservoir. Pigs are the amplifier hosts. Who are the pigs? Pigs are the amplifier host. Vector is Culex. What about cattle? They are mosquito attractants. They are mosquito attractants. Cattle होते हैं mosquito attractants. Man क्या है? Dead end host. Man is the dead end host. Or you will also write it as accidental host. Accidental host. ठीक है? Horses are only animals with symptoms. Horses are what? Only animals with symptoms. Horses are the only animals with symptoms. J life cycle, J vaccine. 2 questions do turn up from J. Okay. What is the target year for filaria elimination? Filaria and yellow fever, Kala Azar can come in your exams. So quickly tell me, target year for filaria elimination. What is the target year for filaria elimination? 2027. And what is the filaria elimination criteria? Not 30, 2027. Microfilary carrier rate. Microfilary carrier rate below 1%, guys. Okay? MDA for filariasis, 3 drugs. We are going to use 3 drugs now. DEC, albendazole as well as albendazole plus we are going to use ivermectin. 3 drug therapy, not triple drug. I mean not dual drug, not 2 drugs. Target year for Kala Azar, visceral leishmaniasis elimination is also 2027. We have set an elimination criteria less than 1 case per 10,000 population. But there was a question which is your buzzword. Kala Azar ke liye, what is the name of the diagnostic kit, everyone? What is the name of the diagnostic kit that we use to detect Kala Azar, guys? If you see that word, your answer is Kala Azar. Anybody? Diagnostic kit. Good, Nikhil Ahir, RK39. It is RK39. What about treatment of Kala Azar, guys? LAMP, liposomal amphotericin B. And control of Kala Azar only done with pyrethroids. Control of Kala Azar only done with pyrethroids. Cool. Let's go to some malaria-metric indices. Just tell me the names of this. Which index measures burden of malaria and elimination strategies are based on this? The index which measures burden of malaria and elimination strategies are based on this. What is your answer? The index which measures burden of malaria and elimination strategies are based on that. Alright, Nico has come up first with the answer API, annual parasite incidence, which should be the target is less than 1 case per 1,000 population. Okay, what is index of operational efficiency of the program? That the program is going well. What will you mark? Operational efficiency of the program, guys. It is ABER, annual blood examination rate, which should be more than 10%. Indicator of endemicity of malaria, that malaria is endemic, spleen rate. Most sensitive 2 to 10 years age children showing enlargement of spleen. Most sensitive index of recent malaria transmission, infant mortality rate. Not mortality, infant parasite rate. You will call it as infant parasite rate. Infant parasite rate. Okay. Calculated during outbreak, slide positivity rate. Calculated during outbreak, slide positivity rate. Alright. Another question which turns up, treatment of malaria. Chloroquine is for which one? Chloroquine 3 days, primaquine 14 days. This is for Plasmodium vivax. ACT for 3 days plus primaquine for day 1 on or day 2. This is which one? You will remember like this, falciparum. For falciparum, if it is other states, it is ACT SP. Northeastern states, it is ACT LM. ठीक है? Pregnancy, falciparum first trimester, quinine. Other trimesters, again same thing, ACT, SP, ACT, LM. SP is other states, ठीक है? And LM again is your northeastern state. Vivax of course is chloroquine. Vivax is chloroquine. In pregnancy, primaquine is contraindicated. You must remember this. Pregnancy में क्या होता है? Primaquine contraindicated. Pregnancy, primaquine is contraindicated. Clear? Okay, short-term chemoprophylaxis if you are traveling for up to 6 weeks, less than 6 weeks. So, what is the drug that we will take? Less than 6 weeks, we will take doxy. A to D ka distance is short. More than 6 weeks, we will take mefloquine. A to M ka distance is long. So, we will take mefloquine. NVBDCP protects from how many diseases? 6 diseases. Vector has 6 letters, so 6 diseases. API ka index, not more, it is less than 1 per 1,000 population that I told, and ABR more than 10%. ठीक है? So that was malaria, some vector-borne diseases we've discussed. Let me quickly take you to National AIDS Control Program, TB program, and we will talk about leprosy. ठीक है? AIDS, TB, and we're going to talk about leprosy. So let's have a look at AIDS program. Test and treat policy. Test and treat policy, everybody, is done for HIV AIDS. Meaning, what is test and treat policy? Any individual who is HIV positive, alright, any individual HIV positive started on ART irrespective of CD4 count. ठीक है, earlier we used to look at CD4 count, but now irrespective of CD4 count, any individual who is HIV positive is started on ART irrespective of CD4 count. And what will you prescribe for an individual who is HIV positive? What is my first choice? TLD. But for children below 10 years, what is my choice? ZLD or ALD. ठीक है, newborn HIV positive, it is ZLR, Raltegravir. These are just one-liners, a couple of one-liners that could turn up. Pregnant woman HIV positive, what are you going to put her on? Pregnant woman HIV positive, you will put her on TLD irrespective of gestational age. Irrespective of gestational age, you will start her on TLD. Then newborn, if the mother on ART for more than 4 weeks, ठीक है, then the newborn is a low risk infant. Low risk infant, you will put syrup nevirapine. How many weeks everybody? 6 weeks. Whatever type of feeding, doesn't matter. But if the woman is not on ART or ART less than 4 weeks, so the baby is high risk. If the baby is high risk, you just can't work with syrup nevirapine. You have to add syrup nevi plus syrup zido. And how long will you give this? Syrup nevirapine and syrup zido. If the woman is exclusive breastfeeding, this will be given for 12 weeks. If she is on exclusive replacement feed, mixing of feed kabhi allowed nahi hota guys, it is 6 weeks. ठीक है, it is 6 weeks. Remember this. Not on ART, high risk infant, you have to add both Nevi plus Zido. Then you have to look at exclusive breastfeeding, तो इसको दोगे 12 weeks तक. And if not on exclusive breastfeeding, replacement feeding 6 weeks. You will never ever allow mixing of feeds. ठीक है? Early infant diagnosis is done at 6 weeks. And test is HIV DNA PCR, RT-PCR. Confirmatory testing baby में कब करते हैं? 18 months. Cotrimoxazole prophylaxis from 6 weeks till 18 months. Breastfeeding not contraindicated. Please remember, not contraindicated. However, we do not allow mixing of feeds. Are you all there with me? Give me a thumbs up if you're there with me. All right, we'll just take some more time, guys. I hope you all are there. Give me a thumbs up, everybody. ठीक है? So this is National AIDS Control Program. You must remember this particular slide of HIV is a way to go slide. All right. Quickly, post-exposure prophylaxis in accidental needle prick injury. What is your drug of choice? Accidental needle prick injury, TLD, for 28 days. Started within how many hours? Started within 72 hours. 72 hours. But best start within 2 hours. Best if started within 2 hours. Good. Started within 2 hours. Most common opportunistic infection among people living with HIV in India, guys, TB. What is the investigation of choice to detect TB in people living with HIV? CBNAT. If somebody has TB HIV co-infection, you are going to start ATT, then ART 2 weeks later, then ART 2 weeks later to prevent immune reconstitution syndrome. TB preventive therapy, what is it? If the person is not TB positive, TB negative, you will give a TB preventive. That is 3 months of isoniazid and rifampicin. Isoniazid plus rifampicin weekly. Rifampicin weekly. Yes, to prevent IRS. Good. Most common opportunistic infection among people living with HIV worldwide, PCP. To prevent PCP, double strength cotrimoxazole. ठीक है? Double strength cotrimoxazole. All these questions, one or the other way, guys, this can turn up in your exam. Remember this, it can come. Okay, so I've tried to put out a summary. Core high-risk group for HIV, this came in latest INI-CET. There are just 4 groups. Commercial sex workers, men having sex with men, injectable drug users, and of course, we have transgenders. They are the core high-risk groups. Bridge population are single male migrants, single male migrants, also you have what? Single male migrants, also you have truck drivers, okay? Clients of sex workers, they are all bridge population. But remember these 4 core high risk groups, they are, don't say doctors and nurses, no, core high risk groups are only these 4. All right, national leprosy, look at the name of the program, eradication. Elimination criteria of leprosy. What is the elimination of criteria of leprosy, guys? Less than 1 case per 10,000 population. If I go and survey, I should find less than 1 case per 10,000 population. That is prevalence criteria. India already eliminated leprosy in 2005. We are looking for leprosy Mukt Bharat 2027. Now we have treatment regimen. So we have 3 drug regimen for paucibacillary leprosy, multibacillary leprosy, 6 to 9 months, and for multibacillary 12 to 18 months. What is the drugs that we are giving? I hope you remember rifampicin, clofazimine, dapsone. Rifampicin, clofazimine, and also you should know dapsone. Sapna mascot is under Sparsh initiative. Now she is a school going girl. She was actually a cured case of leprosy. And what is she doing? Spreading awareness on leprosy. ठीक है, awareness on leprosy under Sapna mascot, awareness on leprosy. But she was a very successful, like she was adopted from a very successful concept of Meena. Meena mascot was UNICEF. This is under child's right, okay. This was working for child's right. Prophylaxis of leprosy, single dose of rifampicin. Rest you can also refer to LRRs where you will find points about leprosy. Last one, yeah, Meena is with that parrot, very good. One more program we'll quickly have a look at is TB elimination program. A couple of updates which have come on TB, guys. So let's quickly have a look. Universal drug susceptibility testing is a term for TB. What do you mean by this? That means you will do a CB-NAT at baseline for all the patients. CB-NAT at baseline for all TB suspects. You will do a CB-NAT at baseline for all TB suspects. Anyone who comes as a TB suspect, you will do a CB-NAT at baseline. Screening test for TB in community, we all know screening test is sputum AFP. But if you have to check for TB, investigation of choice to detect TB among people living with HIV, pediatric cases, extrapulmonary, recurrent TB. So what is this? This is CB-NAT. So be very careful with the question. Treatment regimen for TB is daily dots. Number of adult weight band categories 5. Drugs are dispensed according to FDC. Depending on the weight band category, the required number of drugs have to be given. So adult is 5, pediatric is 6. Screen TB in patients with HIV, diabetes, COVID. This is known as intensified case finding. Alright, this is known as intensified case finding. But if high risk population में जब screen करोगे, active case finding. You can get these as one-liners in exam. Cross referral screening means TB positive, screen for HIV, screen HIV. HIV positive, screen TB. HIV positive, screen TB. Clear? Okay. There was a national strategic plan for TB elimination 2017 to 2025. We want to eliminate TB by 2025. Strategy is test, treat, prevent. Then talk about build. Now what is this? Website for online notification of TB cases. N number of times it has come in your exams. Tell me website for online notification of TB patients. Website for online notification Nikshay. And website for online notification of leprosy patient, Nikusht. And this one we already did. UP ticket provided freely by ASHA workers. So that is Nishchay. Mandatory notification of TB cases, private practitioners, they get rupees 500 on notification and again they get rupees 500 on treatment completion. Failure to notify is a punishable offense. Clear? Nikshay Poshan Yojana. So you must know this is an update slide, guys. Nikshay Poshan Yojana. How much nutritional incentive? ₹1,000 per month is now given. A nutritional incentive. Nutritional incentive. It is now how much? ₹1,000 per month. Anti-TB blister pack with hidden numbers. This is DOTS 99. You have a digital pill box which is given to monitor multi-drug resistant TB treatment. This is MERM box, guys. This can come in your exam, particularly for MDR. Medicine Event Reminder Monitor Box. Medicine Event Reminder Monitor Box. And you have a TB Mukt Bharat, in which we have come up with Nikshay Mitra. So we have to adopt TB patients as friends. Adopt TB patients as friends. Adopt TB patients as friends. And offer them nutritional support. Okay, minimum we can adopt for 6 months to 1 year. Minimum we can adopt for 6 months to 1 year. Also, there is an update, guys. What about this thing which has come? New regimen for MDR TB. What is the new regimen for MDR TB? Anybody who remembers? New MDR TB regimen. What is the newer MDR TB regimen? Newer MDR TB regimen. MDR, RR. You could also go for pre-XTR. So that is what we can try for pre-XTR. BPAL-M. And this is newer MDR. This is for 6 months. Bedaquiline, predominant, linezolid as well as moxifloxacin. Okay, chalo. Now, let me just ask you about rabies control program. I hope you remember post-exposure prophylaxis. Which regimen are we using, everybody? Thai regimen. How many letters Thai has? 4 letters. I say India. Thai. D say this is intradermal regimen. So, it has 4 letters. So, 4 visits. When are we going to make the visits? Day 0, 3, 7, 28. 2 sites simultaneously. SN regimen, intramuscular. 5 letters, 5 visits. Okay? 5 letters. So, this is day 0, 3, 7, 14, 28. This is on 1 site simultaneously. Pre-exposure, 3 letters, 3 visits. Okay? Now, over here, it could be IM or ID regimen. कुछ भी दे सकते हो. 0, no rush, 21 or 28 days. Re-exposure, you will have to check within 3 months. If it is within 3 months, nothing has to be done. Just do simple wound washing. If it is more than 3 months, guys, now this has has 2 letters. So, how many visits we are going to make? 2 visits. You are going to make on day 0 as well as 3. This is universal. 3 month ko chhedna nahi, guys. 3 months is fixed. It's not going to change. Rabies immunoglobulin, which one do we use? Human immunoglobulin. How much? 20 international unit per kg body weight. Mostly around wound site. Mostly around the wound. Maximum is given around the wound. Alright, last diseases program that we are going to see, NPNCDs, National Program for Prevention and Control of NCDs. Earlier we used to call it as National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Diseases and Stroke. Now it is National Program for Prevention and Control of NCDs. What are the newer inclusions in the programs? Remember, it is CKD, COPD, RHD, non-alcoholic fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver, just 8 to 10 slides more, non-alcoholic fatty liver and also non-ST elevation MI. Okay? Surveillance of risk factors for NCD, what is that approach known as? STEPS approach. What is this? On tracking, in which the first step you fill the questionnaire, second step the physical measurements, third step the lab. On tracking BP of individuals from childhood to adulthood, hypotensive in childhood remain hypotensive in adulthood. Hypertensive in childhood will remain hypertensive in adulthood. What is this? This is known as tracking phenomenon. Okay. What is the answer to this? Out of all hypertensives in a community, 50% are aware of their status, 50% are on treatment and adequately treated. So, this is what? Rule of halves. Height independent obesity indicator, corpulence index. And monitoring trends and determinants in this project, this is Monica project. A couple of points which could come from that question. Alright everyone, so let me just give you one ASHA related topic also. These were some of the important points that you should know. We'll just touch on one chart revision, which is healthcare delivery system. I hope you remember the population for sub-center is how much? 1 per 5,000 in plain areas, 1 per 3,000 in hilly areas. What about PHC? 1 per 30k, 1 per 20k. CHC 1 per 1,20,000 in plain areas, 1 per 80,000 in hilly areas. Categories, we do it on the basis of type A and type B. Sub-center में no delivery. Type B में yes, delivery is happening. Similarly, PHC type A क्या है? Less than 20 delivery per month. But if you talk about type B, more than equal to 20 delivery. Remember, it is per month. CHC, we don't have any such classification to do the deliveries. Staff, you should remember sub-center, multi-purpose worker male, multi-purpose worker female or ANM. In PHC, you have health assistant male, health assistant female. They are the most important, and doctors. Okay? You have MBBS doctor. But in CHC, you will have all the specialists. Beds in sub-center, 1 to 2 beds we can have. PHC, we can have 4 to 6 beds in type A and type B 6 to 10 beds. CHC, minimum we can have 30 beds. Responsibility, central government, ये क्या है? State government, state government. Sub-center can supervise 4 villages, PHC 29, and this is 168, almost villages can be supervised by this. But one question which turns up, urban area. Remember, in urban area, guys, you don't have sub-center. Urban area, you have no sub-center. ठीक है? Urban 158, no? Yeah, we missed it. 158. Urban area में कोई सब सेंटर नहीं है. One urban health and wellness center is 1 per 15,000 to 20,000 population. One urban PHC, 1 per 50,000 population. One urban CHC in metro area cities, 1 per 5 lakh. Non-metro, 1 per 2.5 lakh. Urban polyclinic has come in between, 1 per 2.5 to 3 lakh. One urban ENM, 1 per 10,000 population, and one USHA, 1 per, what is USHA? 1,000 to 2,500 population, USHA. ठीक है? In metro cities, you will find 100 beds, guys. Non-metro cities, you will find 50 beds. Okay. Just look at this slide for once. What is the first health worker that you can see? 25 to 45-year-old, 10th pass, resident of local community, married, widowed, divorced, selected by village panchayat with duration of training 23 days, trained by ANM Anganwadi workers, existing population norm 1 by 1000, ASHA. All details about ASHA is here. ASHA cannot conduct delivery, cannot give vaccines. Nil educational qualification, receives 30 days training, existing population norm 1 per 1000, main role is to conduct deliveries, train birth attendant. 6th pass, receives 3 months training, population norm 1 per 1000, main role health education, village health guide. And 10th pass with 4-month training, present 1 per 400 to 800 population, hilly areas, growth monitoring. So basically Anganwadi worker. Remember this one, plain areas, और ये कितना है? Hilly areas. Okay. Main role of multi-purpose worker male is chlorination. Main role is chlorination. Malaria surveillance, active malaria surveillance, and also collects sputum sample. Collects sputum sample. Multi-purpose worker female, eligible couple register, याद रखना एक आता है, and conduct delivery. ठीक है? Conduct delivery. Hemoglobin and urine testing also she is going to do. Hemoglobin and urine testing. ASHA can give vaccines and conduct delivery? No, a big no. ASHA cannot do that. ASHA cannot do that. All right, anything else that you want to revise? So I'll just have a quick look at Factory Act, guys. No children under 14 years of age employment. This is Article 24. We'll take 10 more minutes. Appropriate work for children of tender age. This is Article 39. Cubic feet space per worker is 500. मोर देन 50 वर्कर्स पे क्रैश होगा, कैंटीन होगा, 250 वर्कर्स पे, 500 वर्कर्स पे वी विल हैव वेलनेस ऑफिसर एंड मोर देन 1000 वर्कर्स वी विल हैव अ सेफ्टी ऑफिसर. ESI एक्ट में एम्प्लॉयर का कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन 3.25% है, एम्प्लॉय का कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन 0.75% है. Got it, everyone? So I think we are good to go for your exams. Rest you can refer to this thing also. ESI Act में benefits 70% of daily wages for 91 days is the sickness benefit. 80% is the, if you talk about 80%, this is extended sickness benefit, extended sickness benefit. And 7 days vasectomy, 14 days tubectomy, this is enhanced sickness benefit. Full MTP up to 26 weeks, this is what, guys? Maternity benefit. This one is MTP benefit. And up to 4 weeks, this is pregnancy induced illness, pregnancy induced illness, anything because of pregnancy. Pension at 90% wages, 15,000 is funeral expenses. 90% daily wage is temporary permanent disablement benefit, temporary or permanent disablement benefit. Alright, so I think we have covered most of the things, guys. You can go through them later as well. Like this is one couple of some tables I'll just show you. जैसे ये वाला table, notification rate, OPD attendance, admission rate, duration of hospital stay. These are all morbidity indicators. These are morbidity indicators. Doctor population ratio, population bed ratio. These are all healthcare delivery indicators. This one, percent of infants immunized, bed occupancy rate, this is all healthcare utilization indicator. Percent of GDP, India says 2.5% GDP by 2025. This is health policy indicator, health policy indicator. And these one, event type and person type, these are disability indicator. In case you get it in the exam, please don't get confused. Okay. One more thing, suppose you're working in a sandstone industry, granite, pottery, ceramic, steel, you are at risk of silicosis. But if you're working in cement, cement asbestosis होता है. Coal mines क्या होता है? Anthracosis होता है. Barytosis is photography and all. Textile industry, bicyanosis. Sugar cane factory क्या है? Cardboard factories, that is bagasosis. What about agricultural industry? Farmer's lung. Agricultural industry, farmer's lung. And I have given you one slide, guys, where you will just quickly name the terms and we will see. Suppose question आया. Most common pneumoconiosis, risk factor for TB, upper part of lung fields affected, snowstorm appearance, nodular fibrosis. Which type of pneumoconiosis is this? Anybody? Which type of pneumoconiosis is this? Most common pneumoconiosis, it's a risk factor for TB, upper part of lung field affected, silicosis. Great. Most dangerous. Most common presentation adenocarcinoma of lung, most specific mesothelioma, asbestosis, B से basal part, ground glass appearance, diffuse fibrosis. Which one is this, everybody? Asbestosis. Coal miners, progressive massive fibrosis, simple coal miners, workers pneumoconiosis, reversible. This is anthracosis. Textile mills, bicyanosis. Sugar cane, scene and cardboard paper industry, agent, thermoactinomyces saccharine, thermoactinomyces saccharine. Is it notifiable? Non-notifiable. Preservative, spray with 2% propionic acid. What is this, everybody? This is nothing but bagasosis. Clear? Grain dust moldy है, farmer's lung. This is farmer's lung. Most common occupational related cancer, skin cancer. And एक और question D से क्या है? Bladder. और benzene से क्या है? Benzene is leukemia. Benzene is leukemia. So I think that sums up for us. Let me see if I can ask you some other question. Yeah, one more important slide. Just 2 more slides I will show you from nutrition, guys. Tell me quickly the answer to this, okay? Average daily dietary intake that is sufficient to meet the requirement of almost all individuals in a group. 97 to 98% individuals. What do you call it as? Is it RDA or is it estimated average requirement? Is it RDA or is it EAR? What is the answer over here? Is it RDA or is it EAR, guys? 97 to 98, RDA. Good, RDA. Additional energy requirement during pregnancy plus 350 kilocalories. First 6 months plus 600. 6 to 12 months plus 520. Nutrient requirement increased during pregnancy. What are the nutrients increased? Iron, folic acid. What are the nutrients whose requirement increased during lactation, guys? So you all know during lactation what is increased? Vitamin A, calcium, iodine. Please don't forget this. Carbs. Protein requirement 0.83 gram per kg body weight. Energy requirement for elderly guys 1700 male, and for female it is how much? Female it is 1500. आयोडीन रिक्वायरमेंट पूछते हैं प्रेगनेंसी में 250 माइक्रोग्राम, लैक्टेशन में 280 माइक्रोग्राम. सो दैट कैन कम इन योर एग्जाम्स. Okay, rest you can also refer to the LRR, guys. School health, I hope you remember, recommended by which committee recommended school health? So school health was recommended by board committee. In charge is medical officer PHC. Number of students in the class up to how many students are permitted in the class, guys? Number of students permitted in the class. How many students are permitted in the class? Can you quickly tell me? Number of students जो school health में permitted होते हैं class में up to 40. Good. Area per student 10 square feet. Desk minus type. Desk minus type. Windows you can read. 1 urinal up to 60 students, 1 latrine 100 students, and of course light source should come from the left side. Light source from the left side. Okay? Canteen in schools are with more than 250 students. Primary schools में चाहिए 5 acre land चाहिए होता है guys. Senior secondary के लिए 10 acre. Teachers can assess for night blindness. Doctors screen for Bitot spot. Bitot spot is the most specific marker. Eye checkup में visual acuity less than 6/9. Alright, now we come to the last thing, sociology. Just quickly give me the definition. Study of human relation and human behavior. What do you call it as? Study of human relation and human behavior. What is this called as? Study of human relation and human behavior. Sociology. Sociology. Group of individuals leading a certain way of life, sharing common values and interests. What is this? Society. Society within geographical boundary. What is this? Community. Pattern of interrelationship among members in a society. Social structure. Process by which individuals adopt the culture and become part of the society, guys. This is socialization. Study of social causes leading to the occurrence of disease. Social pathology. Exchange of cultures. Acculturation. Exchange of cultures. Acculturation. Learned pattern of behavior. Culture. Established pattern. Custom. What is something which is temporary, subjective in nature? Opinion. What is something which is permanent but subjective? Belief. More or less permanent? Attitude. Types of learning, I just will revise one. Psychomotor learning, alright, which is skill based. Psychomotor learning is skill based. Most common emotion, fear, then love. Temporary groups are crowd, mob, herd. Okay. Single married couple with their dependent children. What is the answer to this? Single married couple with their dependent children, nuclear family. Two or more married couples living together where the males are related by blood, joint family. Nuclear family of less than 10 years duration, ठीक है, new family. Family which lags behind rest of the community is problem family. And what is, either couple is dead, divorced, broken family. बहुत बार आता है guys. Roles and responsibilities divided, communal family. And family members, violence है, abuse है, family members have adjusted to it, dysfunctional family. Okay. So that's it. Family cycle, marriage to birth of first child is formation. Birth of first child to birth of last child is extension. Birth of last child to first child leaves home is complete extension. First child leaves home to last child leaves home is contraction. ठीक है? And last child leaves home to first spouse dies, complete contraction. And first spouse dies to death of survivor, dissolution. Alright. So that's it for today guys. Each phase is denoted by the first part. इसको याद रखना. ठीक है? अगर कोई एग्जाम में पूछे that formation is which one? Formation is, like if I ask you last child leaves home. So that is last child leaves home is actually complete contraction. You will always see the first phase. Am I clear? Okay. So that's it. Yeah, SDG, how many goals and targets do you have guys? 17 goals, 169 targets. Which is the direct health related goal? Goal 6. Indirect is 2, 4, 5. Goal 3 is health related. Now tell me these last couple of things. Reduce MMR. How much we have to reduce? 70 per, yes, 70 per 1 lakh live births. NMR to 12 per 1000 live births. Under 5 to 25 per 1000 live births. And reduce premature mortality due to NCTs by 33%. Alright. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this session guys. Just have a look over here. I have given you a couple of tables in this chart that you can see. Just I have written when are the World Health Days. You can go through these World Health Days later guys. We have discussed, like it's there in the PDF. Some important World Health Days might come because nowadays they are kind of asking you such stuff. When is breast cancer awareness month? You could be getting when is World AIDS Day? When is universal health coverage? ठीक है? एक ये rickettsial disease का table everyone should have a look at because this is again important. Like over here, the important thing is epidemic typhus, louse, that could come in your exams. Scrub typhus, you see which formation guys? Escar formation. That again could come in your exams. And one more thing which we left, okay, hunchback appearance. So entomology guys, you can definitely revise from the other LLR that we had done. ठीक है, if they ask you like resting position, breathes in clean water, boat shaped eggs, lateral floats, no siphon tube, this is what? Anopheles. Hunchback, white stripes, artificial collection of water, cigar shaped eggs, this is what? Aedes. Dirty polluted water, egg in cluster, longer siphon tube, this is what? Culex. And this is Mansonia. This is Mansonia. So these things you can have a look from your LRR also. You can check it out from there also. Diseases transmitted however is important. जैसे Anopheles क्या transmit कराता है? Malaria. Culex, J. And filariasis. Also, what does it transmit? Something that you should know, West Nile. West Nile fever. West Nile fever. Aedes, dengue. Aedes, dengue. Chikungunya. Chikungunya. Also, what does Aedes transmit? Rift Valley fever. Rift Valley fever. Also, Zika virus. Some of the important questions that could come. Mansonia brugian filariasis. Mansonia brugian filariasis. ठीक है? Sandfly, काला आजार. CC fly, जिसका 2 overlapping wings है. CC fly, African sleeping sickness. African sleeping sickness. Ridovit bug is what? Or trypanosomiasis. Ridovit bug is Kissing's disease. ठीक है? Kissing's disease, Chagas disease. Louse, P-E-R-T, pert. Pediculosis, more important. Epidemic typhus, ठीक है? Epidemic typhus is important. Epidemic typhus, Rickettsia provaziki, that you will find in that table. Relapsing fever, trench fever. Rat flea, I would want you to remember two, bubonic plague and endemic typhus. Endemic typhus in the rickettsial table आपको दिखेगा. Rickettsia typhi is the agent. Trombiculid mite, scrub typhus. Orentia shootshu gamushi. Black fly, onchocerciasis or river blindness. Heart tick, what are the diseases you will remember for heart ticks, guys? Lyme's disease आता है, KFD आता है, babesiosis, कम से कम ये 3 you should remember. Soft tick, Q fever and relapsing fever. But remember, Q fever has no vector in humans. Transmitted by inhalation of dust. Itch mite, scabies. And cyclops is guinea worm. Guinea worm infection no longer exists in India. Eliminated. Okay? So that's it. Burkill fever, Borrelia recurrentis. Very good. So I will be sharing the PDF. Thank you so much for being a part of this session. Now guys, you have a session which was already done, LRR. Please refer to that LRR for PSM, equally important for NEET PG as well as FMGs. These 100 one-liners are equally good, where we have tried to give you an overview of the entire PSM. So I hope these sessions can help you revise your PSM. Don't worry a lot, everybody, just keep doing these and I'm sure you would be good to go for your exams. Now that NEET PG has been postponed, let's see when it turns up. Hoping it turns up sooner only. And of course, we have also discussed about the remaining things, so accordingly you can go through the sessions. I hope you enjoyed the sessions, guys. I know when the exams get postponed, it could get a little bit tiring for the students, thinking what would happen now, but please maintain the pace. We are all there with you and keep revising. Please don't give up on the exams. That is very, very important. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. Do like the session and I am going to see you again soon. For sticking so long, I know it takes a lot of time to keep looking at the same thing, which we keep revising everything. Okay, so let's see how things happen. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a good day.